anya burakata bia ivere mebegwo be nugwo oge lugwo makaji oge dunu ndujo ibe mmabu ohamadike genti ka nkwenye be okwu odogwu butiri ezi onye mmemme na-eke ọjị n'oke ọ mụtara zụchari ụmụ ya niile ekene ngị ha sikwa ngị malụ amalụ na nye bụ ọgụ ị na-anụ na mmụọ kwụ gị n'azụ mmadụ kwụ gị n'azụ ezume ezi ibe igbo jiri dị ebube kwụ gị n'azụ ya ka m ji ayọ chikeru gị si ya were ndụ dori gị n'enu ndụ inugwo o were arụ ike wee chọọrụ gị mma ọhamadike ụwa niile oke anụ jide ka iji odogwu butiri ezi maka na ibe ị na-emere anyị dị anyị n'anya o hafụkwa ndị sabo maka na egwere ka echikwa onye gbogbo ati na-emechara ikpeazụ na Judas ji akarị akarị Barnabas ji eme nkarị ya ka m jiri si oge erugwo ndị obi Igbo tetezie n'ụla ịmara na iwu nwa Biafra tete o ya ka m ji nete anya mmụbata ka gụ nwana nke jiri dị ebube dịsie n'ike obere nwa na-esi na ibe nwa ba nne ya bụ orugodo abụ ochikwa n'ibe nna ya fụtara onwe ya obodo emere m ibe ọjọọ ka njụọ onye bụ ajụjụ indigenous people of Biafra ka njụọ anyị ojere bụ n'ụzọ baba ọbịa ka njụọ okwe ka m jiri nete anya wee sị na nje ekwuriri nya bụ okwu Prince Darrington ndị ketete oke nwa ati m n'ọkwalụ ka m bịara ụka ntụọ maka na nya bụ alụ m bịara ụka m tụọ ọkwa ka m onye oge odogwu nje eje mba eje olu disappointi kwa na Nnamdi Kanu inugwo maka na a na-enejere gị anya ọkwa nnene asị na nwata mebe ọfụma obodo akụbara ya aka ọkwa nne ya ka m jiri bịa ka nkụọrụ gị aka maka na ị na-eme ọfụma ekwekwere ka ndị abarakata bịa bịa asị na nwata kwacha aka otoro ọgaranya rijuo nne ya gwọ oke nwa Darrington ndị ketete Chukwu bụ ike ma ọkwa nne agụ Biafra dị ketete asị na ike nga adịghị ile esu onye ọkụ ọkwa adịghị ile atọrọ nkịta ọkwa nne ya ka m jiri nete anya were ikpere na-aba ọdọrọ na nka nna yogo onye bụ ibe ọmarike bụ ya ji gaga ndị niile gbọrọ ogiri osi ji emecha na ukperi elata maka na ibe bụ niile Nnamdi Kanu jere gbara anyị n'afa gbogbo ọkwaba nche na-emezi ọ bụrụ na ibe niile Nnamdi Kanu jere gwa anyị maka nduzu na-emechacha onye ji ekwu na Biafra eje ha bịa Biafra abịagwo ọnụrụ onye ka kwara ibie nwanne m maka na sị na ibe dị mma ka na-eṅomi eṅomi be anyị ibe dị mma na anyị gbara akwụkwọ Igbo ma bụrụ eziokwu onye kụja na akụja onye agba n'ọsọ agụ Biafra ka m bịakwa n'obi gị maka na o nwere ibe iji wuru odogwu ya ka m ji ayọ gị ka ị chetara ọnụ ọ bụ na gbara gị bụ ogiri asọ na-emecha akpere gị lata odogwu Nnamdi Kanu ọtaka agụ na-ekasi gị gbadube na mmụọ na-ebe dị ebube so gị n'azụ mmụọ ndị Igbo jiri dị ebube kwụ gị n'azụ mana asị m na mejeri echezo odogwu asịkwa m na mejeri echezo odogwu onye ka m na-ekwu okwu ya anụ oke ọnụ ejedere atụ ama ọkwa dịketete oke osisi na-aba aga na mmanwụ ọgbakara ọnya ndị iro dịketete ha sị m na ọ bụ gị bụ obere nwa ji aka wee nwude agụ ọkwa gị bụ oke nwa eji eje mba eje olu oke osisi oke nwa na-aba aga na dịketete na Venezuela ka ị na-azọta ọnụ anyị ọma bụrụ nne ibe chọrọ ka m gwa m unu bụ jidenu ka unu ji onye agbakwa n'ọsọ onye atụkwa n'ụjọ na-ekwe m ka nha na-ene m anya mkpụmkpụ emegbuo m ibe mana asị m na ọ bụrụ na onye mkpụmkpụ na-aga ọkwọ eji eme agụ
in the damnable zoological republic.
ekene ụmụaka osisi na-aba aga na mmanwụ oke anụ gbakara mkpaka na ndị ilo mmiri na-arị ugwu dịketete agbụrụgbu eritara agbụsịsị ya ekene gị ha sị m jide ka iji n'ụwa na anụ ọnụ gị ibe niile unu na-ekwu ha sị m na onye kwetata na oyi ekweriri echi maka na ndị Igbo nwere ibe ba jere kọrọ mgbe gboo asị na onye ekwe na ọ na-ekwe n'ute ekwe na ọkwa nne enyebe ekweriri asị m na ọlụ unu na-alụrụ ụmụ Igbo niile okwu unu na-ekwuru ụmụ Igbo niile ọkwa unu na-agọrọ ụmụ Igbo niile agha na-anụrụ ụmụ Igbo niile mana mmadụ mana mmụọ oke osisi gbakwa Nnamdi Kanu nọ n'ahịa n'iyi n'ugbo gbakpara m President ya jide ka o ji odogwu buchiri ezi papa na-enye ji n'ọba ọkwa nne odogwu na mmafu a na-arị egbu awụ n'ugwu ọnụ m mana awụ oji aka amanye n'ike ọ dakarị moto ọbụla asidenti ọkwa nnene ya ka m ji bụrụ odogwu na-ene m anya asị m na oge erugwo mgbe ndị Igbo ya etete n'ụla maka na asị onye mebe ọfụma site onye ọkwa ibe mere eme agụ Biafra na ị na-eme ọfụma mana ọ disapọntikwana anyị ọkwa ekwekwa n'obodo ma gbere nwa ya ọgba na-ekwe ma be m ụkwa ka dị m anya enwere ibe na-atọ m ụtọ eso m na-akwado asụsụ na omenala Igbo ka ọ garuola anyị n'isi mana ndị amaghị ejeri aghọta ibe Nnamdi Kanu na-agba mbọ ka o meele na anyị niile mana ndị nwere anya afụbagwu ya maka ndị gbara ọsọ anatabagwo asị m ndị vele na-eme ficha na anya ụnụ bata ịgbanwe ndụ gị anyị ya nabatakwa gị ndị be anya ọkwa nne mgbe na m ewe n'aka ji bụrụ odogwu wee jide ọgwọ n'aka wee kpakuwe kekere ụwa chekuke ala ọbụnago ya bịa kere ududo ka mmiri bịa kere agwụ bara mkpakọ bụ n'ugwu gị bịa kere oge erugbo agbaba m ezumezu ndị mmiri kpaba ndị ogbe mmụọ kpaba na oke mmụọ dị ijeje mba eje ọrụ ha kpaba m oke mmụọ na alọchukwu oke mmụọ alọchukwu jide ebube bịa kere ya nọrụ gị ụmụ gị tọ n'akwa maka o kwere nka nghọta gbogbo ọ na-abụ ọkarịba ejebe ụmụ chukwu wee jeje ụba ajụjụ ebata na alọchukwu o kwere ụmụ chukwu ya akọrọ gị akụkọ obodo ekweru sobekweru Nnamdi Kanu onye agbakwa n'ọsọ solokweru Nnamdi Kanu sobekweru Maazị Ọkpara Eze Chukwubuike m President oke nwa agụ Biafra dịketete iji ụjọ were emenya bụ ibe o busiri gị ike omeke ndị ya dike ndị kelere I see the heart of Kwande. So back when no causes in a bag and a mawundilo. So back when no causes in a bag and no dog butcherieti. Onye mmemme ka ọjị n'oke esi sowekwu ya maka na onu bene jekwe ọkwa akwụkwọ na-atọ ite esiri n'ọkụ oke osisi isokwe n'ibe eji eje mba eje olu onye agba akwana gị okwu onye agba akwana nye m okwu ka m na-ekwu ụtaka gụ n'aka obi m ka m na-ekwuru onwe m makara si ruche onye na-arịa dị ya njọ kwa ibe mere eme ọ bụrụ na o ekwu omume si kpọzie m echi si kwuo na Biafra adịgwo eji nwayọ emeri nya bụ ibe maka na Nnamdi Kanu ji udo bịa a sị na nwata chọba nke ihe nọ na-aba ajọ nwa Nnamdi Kanu ji udo bịa si were nụ nke bụ ayojejenu be mmụọ gụta ọkụ bata na be mmadụ ọnyụnaghị anyị ndị be anyị okwere omume ya ka m jiri si onye ọbụla tete n'ụla oke osisi na-aba ga na eke n'ọnụ Prince eke n'ọnụ Mazi Nnamdi Kanu eke n'ọnụ ụtaka agụ na nke anagwalo ikpe na bụ ọdọbe na nka nna yogo nyabiba ọmarike bụ ya ji gaga ndị niile gbọrọ ogiri osi je mecha na ukperi elata maka na ibe bụ niile Nnamdi Kanu jere gbara anyị n'afa gbogbo ọkwaba ncha na-emezi ọ bụrụ na ibe niile Nnamdi Kanu jere gwa anyị maka nduzu na-emechacha onye ga-ekwu na Biafra eje ha bịa Biafra abịagwo
Savior, holy, 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 another Savior, holy, 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 holy,
Well, this is Mobian. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPO families all over the world. I remember the Nigerian Biafra War, in the thickness of the Biafra genocide. Hey, one man revived the vanishing hope to life. Let the great Biafra army to fight, and they were singing out. Holy, 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 all will never do. It's another Savior. They were singing out. Holy, 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 all will never do. It's another Savior. Holy, 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 all will never do. It's another Savior. Many years after the genocide, whoa, yet another great leader has risen up now. Oh, and he's leading the Biafrans to victory. Yamadika, Yabika, Kokwana, no, hey, when I'm singing along. Holy, 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 Nnamdi Kanu, it's another Savior. Gonna sing along. Holy, 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 Nnamdi Kanu, it's another Savior. When I sing along. Holy, 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 holy. Getting right, getting on faster now. Holy, 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 all you never do. It's another Savior. the great leader has risen up now. Oh, and he's leading the Biafrans to victory. Yamadika, Yabika, Kokwana, no. Hey, when I'm singing along. Holy, Nnamdi Kanu is another Savior. Gonna sing along. Holy, Nnamdi Kanu is another Savior. When I sing along. Holy. Nnamdi Kanu is another Savior.
I don't come again. Kunana, original death from Bayo. Kunana, this is our feel of time. And we are come to call it our birthright. And now I can't stop us. The Friday promise land. Anywhere we go, that's what the blessings of the Lord they follow us. Anywhere we gonna show the blessings of the Lord they follow us. Go no, we never hear go here. Say that from come. We are the best. We are the best now. We have to party hard. We have come to freedom time. Every day keep on praying to God. It's our freedom time. Now so we keep on moving forward. Oh yeah, I feel hope is coming. I feel hope is coming. Different people coming. Different people coming. It's never that make it dance. It's never that make it dance. It's never that make it stop me down. It's a freedom time. Live for the promised land. 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 Yeah. When I look up to the sky, I can see the sun is shining. It's shining all over Biafra. We are the best. I give thanks to God for the blessings of my soul. Let's go to freedom time. Freedom time. Keep on praying to God. Praying to God. It's our freedom time. It's our freedom. So we keep on moving forward. Keep on going. I feel hope is coming. I feel hope is okay, are you ready? This is our feel of time. And we are going to call it our birthright. And now I can't stop us. The Friday promise land. Anywhere we go, that's what the blessings of the Lord they follow us. Anywhere we gonna show the blessings of the Lord they follow us. Go no, we never hear go here. Say that from come. We are the best. We are the best now. We have to party hard. We have come to freedom time. Every from the promised land, they're from the promised land, yeah. When I look up to the sky, I can see the sun is shining. It's shining all over Biafra. We are the best. I give thanks to God for the blessings of my soul. Oh, la, 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 la. Come to our freedom time. Freedom time. Keep on praying to God. Praying to God. It's our freedom time. It's our freedom. So we keep on moving forward. Keep on moving. I feel hope is your man. I feel hope is your okay, are you ready? Make it this is our freedom time. And we are come to call it our birthright. And now I can't serve us. The Friday promise land. Anywhere we go, that's what the blessings of the Lord they follow us. Anywhere we go, that's what the blessings of the Lord they follow us. Go on, go on. We never hear, go here. Say that from come. We are the best. We are the best now. We are the body one. We are come to our freedom time. Every day keep on praying to God. It's our freedom time. Now so we keep on moving forward. Oh yeah, I feel hope is coming. I feel hope is coming. Different people coming. Different people coming. It's never that make it dance. It's never that make it dance. It's never that make it step on the dance. It's a freedom time. Left from the promised land. 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 Yeah. When I look up to the sky, I can see the sun is shining. It's shining all over Biafra. We are the best. I give thanks to God for the blessings of my soul. Oh, la, 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 la. Come to our freedom time. Freedom time. Keep on praying to God. Praying to God. It's our freedom time. It's our freedom. So we keep on moving forward. Keep on moving. I feel hope is coming. I feel hope is okay, are you ready? Make it Anywhere we go, that's all the blessings of the Lord they follow us. Anywhere we go, that's all the blessings of the Lord they follow us. Go on. We never hear go here. Say that from come. We are the best. We are the best now. We are the body one. We are come to freedom time. Every day keep on praying to God. It's our freedom time. Now so we keep on moving forward. Happy hope is coming. Happy hope is coming. Different people coming. Different people coming. It's never that make it out. It's never that make it out. It's never that make it step on it out. It's our freedom time. Yeah. When I look up to the sky, I can see the sun is shining. It's shining all over Biafra. We are the best. I give thanks to God for the blessings of my soul. Let's go to our freedom time. Freedom time. Keep on praying to God. Praying to God. It's our freedom time. It's our freedom. So we keep on moving forward. Keep on running. Happy hope is coming. Happy hope is anywhere we go, that's all the blessings of the Lord they follow us. Anywhere we go, that's all the blessings of the Lord they follow us. Go on. We never hear go here. Say that from come. We are the best. We are the best now. We are the body one. We are come to freedom time. Every day keep on praying to God. It's our freedom time. Now so we keep on moving forward. Happy hope is coming. Happy hope is coming. Different people coming. Different people coming. It's never that make it out. It's never that make it out. It's never that make it step on it out. It's our freedom time. Left on the promised land. 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 Yeah. When I look up to the sky, I can see the sun is shining. It's shining all over Biafra. We are the best. I give thanks to God for the blessings of my soul. Let's go to our freedom time. Freedom time. Keep on praying to God. Praying to God. It's our freedom time. It's our freedom. So we keep on moving forward. Keep on running. Happy hope is coming. Happy hope is coming.
n'otu ma ọ dị ndụ ma nwụrụ anwụ. Eastern Security Network ọkwa ha nọrọ onwe ha ndị amị ebulu ọgụ wee bịaba. Ndị na-eche Biafra nche ọkwa ha nọrọ onwe ha ndị amị ebulu ọgụ wee bịaba. Mana ọ bụ gịnị ka anyị na-anụzi? Ndị amị ha nọ n'ọsọ. Ọ bụ gịnị ka anyị na-anụ? Ndị amị ha nọ n'ọsọ. Akwa onye ọbụla nọ n'ọsọ. Ndị amị ha nọ n'ọsọ. Na ndị amị biko ejene jene jene. Ndị amị biko ejene jene jene. Ndị amị ejebe egbusizienu ndị amị ụmụ ụwa eje na-atụ onye ụta brọda m. Na-ekwughị ekwu melụ ọnụ gị na melụ ntị ọkụkọ ntị ike na ife n'itofe. Eastern Security jisie n'ike n'ọlụ. Ndị na-eche Biafra jisie n'ike n'ọlụ. Ife salụ fame anyị enwe mmeri. Mana ọ bụ gịnị ka anyị na-anụzi? Ndị amị ha nọ n'ọsọ. Ọ bụ gịnị ka anyị na-anụzi? Ndị amị ha nọ n'ọsọ. Ọ bụ gịnị ka a na-akọzi ifenu? Ndị amị ha nọ n'ọsọ. Onye kpana nwa agụ aka n'ọdụ. Onye kpana nwa agụ aka n'ọdụ. Onye kpana nwa agụ aka n'ọdụ. Ma ọ dị ndụ ma nwụrụ anwụ. Ọ bụ gịnị ka anyị na-anụzi? Ndị amị ha nọ n'ọsọ. Ọ bụ gịnị na-eme n'ọlụ? Ndị amị ha nọ n'ọsọ. Ọ bụ gịnị na-emenụ n'ime obodo? Ndị amị ha nọ n'ọsọ. Ọ bụ gịnị na-eme n'ọlụ? Ndị amị ha nọ n'ọsọ. Chukwu okike bịa amaghị amama amasị amasị anyị ma na ịnọ n'ọlụ. Jisi ike n'ọlụ ọma gị n'oge ikele anyị. Jisi ike n'ọlụ ọma gị n'oge ikele anyị. Ọ bụ gịnị ka anyị na-anụzi? Ndị amị ha nọ n'ọsọ. Ọ bụ gịnị ka anyị na-anụzi? Ndị amị ha nọ n'ọsọ. Kedu ife na-eme n'ọlụ? Ndị amị ha nọ n'ọsọ. Ọ bụ gịnị ka a na-akọzi? Ndị amị ha nọ n'ọsọ. Webrutu bekene mụ ka nje kenezi ọha madike Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Ifi na-eme doro gị anya. Ifi na-eme doro gị anya. Ọrụ na-alụ doro gị anya. Ọrụ na-alụ doro gị anya. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu jisiekwa ike n'ọrụ ọma gị izo gị n'azụ. Jisi ike n'ọrụ ọma gị enwe mmeri. Jisi ike n'ọrụ ọma gị ifi na-eme dị anyị mma. Anyị ga-eligbugo ndị bịara igbu anyị. Obi agbawala ndị bịara igbusi ụmụnna anyị. Na ndị amị biko ejene jene jene. Ndị amị biko ejene jene jene. Ndị amị ejebe egbusizienu ndị amị ụmụ eje na-atọ onye ụta brọda m. Na-ekwughị ekwu melanụ. Ekwanụ gị nọbelụ ntị ọkụkọ ntị ike na ife n'itofe. Aka m bụkwa nwanne unu nwoke Samuel Nwannaga. Ọ ga-adịrị unu na mma wee dịkwara m. Ụmụ Chukwu okike abịa ma enwere ofe obi anyị ga-enweta ife anyị na-achọ brother mo. Thank you. I'm still your brother Samuel.
Chaze chere na anyị n'ụzọ ka anyị naba onye bịara iku nwa rute n'ọbụ na nwa bịara iku anwụọ na n'ụlọ ọ bụ gịnị ka ọ ga-emezi nọ ọ bịara ije nwụna anyị akwado ka nwoke si akwado anyị ejike ka nwoke si ejike ịchọ n'iche anyị akpọọ n'iche nụ ka iwe bụ n'anya nọ n'eme anyị akwado ka nwoke si akwado anyị ejike ka nwoke si ejike ịchọ n'iche anyị akpọọ n'iche nụ ka iwe bụ n'anya nọ n'eme onye nna maka mmasị na IPOB kwadola kwado IPOB bụ atakata abụọ anụ nyere onye ụsa ị na-ama IPOB aka na-ezu ezu gị nara abụ ụzọ bụ ị nara anụ ife onye kachi ntị kwụta ụzọ ife ọbụla owele ọ maka ndị sabotuas na afa na ọsọ na-eme a na-agwa ochi ntị na agha ezu ọkwara onye du ogbugbo nwụrụ udo iso security network apatago na Fulani nọ n'ọsọ ndị sabotu nọ n'ọsọ ndị ọha na eze nọ n'ọsọ ndị igwe gwanụ na nye bụ n'ụkwụ ka anyị malifanye na-eme n'ụlọ unu sacha onye chukwu tele mmanụ ha Mazi Nnamdi Kanu amadike gaba n'iru na anyị kwụghị n'azụ anyị akwado ka nwoke si akwado anyị ejike ka nwoke si ejike ịchọ n'iche anyị akpọọ n'iche nụ ka iwe bụ n'anya nọ n'eme anyị akwado ka nwoke si akwado anyị ejike ka nwoke si ejike ịchọ n'iche anyị akpọọ n'iche nụ ka iwe bụ n'anya nọ n'eme onye nna maka mmasị na IPOB kwadola kwado all falling angels na ụmụaka ndị si na IPOB wee dapụ wee che na fa ga-emeki wave mgbe ha pụtaziri buzie na ụzọ adụrụ ha si agafe na IPOB kwuchisiri ebe niile ha wee tọnụzie to sabotuas ka ESN nwetakwa ụnụ mgbe ọ na-agwa ụnụ na IPOB na all over the world che na gịnị ka anyị na-eme ofesi ka anyị gbana bịanụ bịa gafenụ ka anyị fụnụ before the meeting ọhamadike agwaghị anyị ebe anyị ga-anọ wee chebiri ụnụ anyị gawa na Facebook and Twitter n'ebe aka unu si abịa anyị wee gazi ebe a jee fọmụọ Biafra Media Warriors wee chebiri ụnụ ite isi na Facebook jikọgheriri IPOB asịkwa gị Mazi Nnamdi Kanu asịkwa gị Simon Ekpa nweta gị ịma na ka ị na-eme agwụna ka ị maka Peters na Radio Biafra ọ tupe chapta gị ọ laa gị n'iyi ka ị maka Sista Omote Biafra ewerezi broken gbalie gị ya ebe ọ ga-aba gị ntị ọfụma denike nguru agụ Emmanuel Chibuzo egwu atụ etiri gị burial announcement anyị adọ na Facebook wee kwa gị live iwee bụ n'anya kwete na ọ na-eme Eastern Governor Snapo no Biafra Kanu na Fanabago Gezivuno na kuchizili n'ụzọ
Nzogbu Enyimba Zogbu Kwakwanso Enyimba Nzogbu Enyimba Zogbu Sanusi Enyimba Nzogbu Enyimba Zogbu Tinubu Enyimba Nzogbu Enyimba Zogbu Amechi Enyimba Nzogbu Rocha Okorocha Enyimba Zogbu ya Enyimba Zogbu Enyimba Zogbu Enyimba Oju Sokalo Enyimba Zogbu ya Zogbu Boko Haram Enyimba Nzogbu Enyimba Owazurike Enyimba Zogbu ya Enyimba Zogbu ha Awusa Fulani Enyimba Zogbu ha Enyimba Nzogbu Enyimba Nzogbu Enyimba Olekwe Muna nwanne m dera Abirego Ifeajụ narịra anyị Ewo Muna nwanne m dera Nwanne pụta n'ụzọ ree nwanne Ka anyị tigbuo Hausa ndị na-amara Chukwu Tigbuo ha, zọgbuo ha, zona Ka anyị tigbuo Hausa ndị na-amara Chukwu Tigbuo ha, zọgbuo ha, zona Anyị ga-etigbuo Hausa ndị na-amara Chukwu I can hear the Lord saying, do not be afraid of your enemies. The Boko Haram you see today, you shall see them no more. Hausa Fulani jihadis, you shall see them no more. Says the Lord Almighty, I am with you. We must get to the promised land. The promised land is called Biafra, the land of rising sun. Obodo Chukwu goziri agozi, obodo Chukwu chọrọ mma, obodo Chukwu mere eze. Anyị tigbuo Awụsa dị n'amarụ Chukwu, tigbuo ha nsogbu ha tona ha. Ka anyị tigbuo Awụsa dị n'amarụ Chukwu, tigbuo ha nsogbu ha tona ha. Ka anyị tigbuo Awụsa dị n'amarụ Chukwu, tigbuo ha nsogbu ha tona ha. Ka anyị tigbuo Awụsa dị n'amarụ Chukwu, dị n'amaghị Chukwu obi ama. Namaji Chukwu kike mo, namaji Chukwu na dendo, nene kwete kina Chukwu bama buchi no ya buchi kiranyo. Kani siwa usa, nina maro Chukwu, nina kisia la nyaru siyo, nina magi Chukwu abia, nina magi Chukwu kike ma. In the name of Chukwu, we shall conquer. We are soldiers, soldiers of Biafra. In the name of Chukwu, we shall conquer. We are soldiers, soldiers of Biafra. In the name of Chukwu, we shall conquer. We are soldiers, soldiers of Biafra. In the name of Chukwu, we shall conquer. We are soldiers, soldiers of Biafra. In the name of Chukwu, we shall conquer. We are soldiers, soldiers of Biafra. In the name of Chukwu, we shall conquer. We are soldiers,
soldiers of Biafra, in the name of Chukwuemeka, we shall conquer. We are soldiers fighting for freedom, in the name of Chukwuemeka, we shall conquer. We are fighting for our motherland, by the grace of Chukwuemeka, we shall conquer. We are soldiers fighting for our rights, in the name of Chukwuemeka, we shall conquer. We are soldiers, soldiers of Biafra, in the name of Chukwuemeka, we shall conquer. We are soldiers, soldiers of Biafra, in the name of Chukwuemeka, we shall conquer. Come to Najuju, Wago and Area here. Ihamumuru or Ritogoroko. Unyo tabi Arabia Nesia, we Pukunokolu with you. With you. Heroes fight like Biafra soldiers. Here, Bunyo Tabule. We are soldiers, soldiers of Biafra, in the name of Chukwuemeka, we shall conquer. We are soldiers, soldiers of Biafra, in the name of Chukwuemeka, we shall conquer. We are soldiers, soldiers of Biafra, in the name of Chukwuemeka, we shall conquer. We are marching our motherland, in the name of Chukwuemeka, we shall conquer ourselves. We are soldiers, soldiers of Biafra, in the name of Chukwuemeka, we shall conquer. I say the land of the rising sun belongs to our fathers, in the name of Chukwuemeka, we shall take it by force. I say we are soldiers, soldiers of Biafra, in the name of Chukwuemeka, we shall conquer. I say hallelujah, hallelujah, Biafra, hallelujah, people, in the name of Chukwuemeka, we shall conquer. Oh yeah, we are soldiers, soldiers of Biafra, in the name of Chukwuemeka, we shall conquer. We are soldiers from the rising sun, in the name of Chukwuemeka, we shall conquer. We are soldiers, soldiers of Biafra, in the name of Chukwuemeka, we shall conquer. When we come, majority was there, in the name of Chukwuemeka, we are fearless. I say we are soldiers, 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 in the name of Chukwuemeka, we shall conquer.
Iwe ne wanyo na nyi soro no Biafra. Iwe ne wanyo Iwa ne uno na nyi soro no Biafra. Omu Biafra le Iwa ne uno Iwe ne wanyo na nyi soro budanyo. Anambra te Iwa ne uno Enugu te Iwa ne uno Iwa ne uno River State, Ebony State, Naichoro Buranyo. Ebeka unusi Biafra, Ebeka unusi Biafra, Gaimara po Biafra, Gawe boso gabiri, Gaimara po Biafra, Gawe boso gabiri. Biafra is my home. Ebeka unusi Biafra, Ebeka unusi Biafra, Gaimara po Biafra, Gawe boso gabiri, Gaimara po Biafra, Gawe boso gabiri. Biafra is my home. In this platform, we are calling all the indigenous people of Biafra living in diaspora to come back home. Let us defend and build our motherland, the land of the rising sun, and stop developing other people's land while our land has been taken by our enemies. For Biafra land is the kingdom of God on earth, and we must fight with the last drop of our blood to restore this great nation, the land of the rising sun. All hail Biafra! All hail indigenous people of Biafra! All hail the land of the rising sun! Biafra must be restored. Biafra must live, and Biafra must survive by the name of Chukwuemeka. Ebeka unusi Biafra, Ebeka unusi Biafra, Gaimara po Biafra, Gawe boso gabiri, Gaimara po Biafra, Gawe boso gabiri. Biafra is my home. They say the river cannot flow through the forest without bringing down trees. My dear people of Biafra,
that Biafra will come in a platter of big and honey called dialogue. What did we get in return? They kill our brothers, they rape our women, they behead our children, they bomb our churches when we go to worship Biafra. No. Enough is enough. We can't take this anymore. We must fight to defend our land. The Biafra we love. For he who wants peace must be ready for war.
Ebeka unusi Biafra. Ebeka unusi Biafra. Gaimara fu Biafra. Gawe bozo gabiri. Gaimara fu Biafra. Gawe bozo gabiri. Biafra is my home.
My people of Biafra, I'm laughing at you. Are we not ashamed of worship less in a foreign land just to make a living? Are we not tired of marrying our mother's pets just to have clean sheep in a foreign land? Are we not tired of running from police and immigration, jumping condominiums, rotting in jail?
Ebeka unusi Biafra. Ebeka unusi Biafra. Gaimara fu Biafra. Gawe bozo gabiri. Gaimara fu Biafra. Gawe bozo gabiri. Biafra is my home.
Enyimba eni, enyimba, enyimba eni, enyimba, enyimba eni,
Nzobu,
enyimba,
nzobu,
enyimba eni,
zobu ha,
enyimba,
ike wachukwu,
enyimba,
nzobu,
enyimba eni,
itobi,
enyimba,
zobu ya,
enyimba,
achikoda nwa,
enyimba,
zobu ya,
enyimba,
eburu masobu,
enyimba,
ndị iro,
enyimba,
nzobu,
enyimba,
anyị ga-azọgbu ha,
enyimba eni,
nzobu,
enyimba, enyimba eni,
nzobu,
enyimba, enyimba eni,
nzobu,
Na mbụ kobidoro n'ala Biafra kobidoro. 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 You don't say no be today. I say you don't say no be today. Ọbụta anyị hụrụ Hausa n'ụka. Mmadụ na-eka jigo ya wee gbago. Ihe niile dị nọ n'abalị o. Ihe niile dị mmadụ bidoro n'abalị o. Biafra land ya maka o. Biafra land ya maka o. Na mbụ ka o bidoro. N'ala Biafra ka o bidoro. Anyị nwere coal, anyị nwere zinc, anyị nwere oil, anyị nwere stone, anyị nwere steel, anyị nwere cement. N'ala Biafra ka o bidoro. Na mbụ ka o bidoro. N'ala Biafra ka o bidoro. Na mbụ ka o bidoro. N'ala Biafra ka o bidoro. We came direct from God. We are the lost choosing people. We the Biafra people. And even the Chukwu gozira gozi. There is nothing God cannot do. There is nothing Chukwu Biafra cannot do. Each one we go anywhere ya. We are born engineers. We have medical doctors. We have medical practitioners. Biafra land is a settled land. Na mbụ kobidoro n'ala Biafra kobidoro. Na mbụ kobidoro n'ala Biafra kobidoro. Na mbụ kobidoro n'ala Biafra kobidoro. Abịa na doctors na anyị nwere ahụ. Abịa na engineers na anyị nwere ahụ. Abịa na lawyers na anyị nwere ahụ. Ojukwu akwanye mụrụ ya. Nnamdi Kanu akwanye mụrụ ya. N'ala Biafra ka o bidoro lele. Na mbụ ka o bidoro. N'ala Biafra ka o bidoro. N'ala Biafra banye yo. Na mbụ ka o bidoro.
Zobo 20 naira. Roger. Zobo naira. Nzobu. Zobo green white green. Nzobu. Zobo Nigeria. Nzobu. Zobo Dizu. Nzobu. One day. Yana Zobo Kango. Sheba Kam Sheba. Nzobu. Zobo Botanjom. Not father. Zobo go on. Nzobu. Zobo Lutas. All the Lutas. Zobo PDP. Zobo FPC. Zorogawa. Zobo Sorok. Zobo Governors. Zobo all of them. Senators. Zobo Ha. Zobo Dizu. Animal Decay. Monkeys. They carry it very well. Zobo Ha. Zobo Ha.
Odogwu akataka, ọkọ ndị bọọdụ mara mbọ. Onye See them, they watching us. We hear them as they calling us miscreant, jobless, terrorists, scammers. It's our real name. We are the miscreant. We are jobless and we are terrorists. We are scammers. We must scam you of all you scammed us. Old fools, empty brains, old fools, sold your souls for chicken change. Proud slave, to the full on this, we must get you down. Honest, in your shit. Honest, Bande Fundiara. No forgiveness. No forgiveness. We must get you down. Oh, it's saboteurs. Do your worst. Come do your worst. The governors, you sold us out. Evil kings, hungry fools, slave kings, shameless fools, brought evil men to Biafra land, a holy land, a blessed land, to kill us all. Then you obey, I build Biafra rising. Honest, in your shit. Bande Fundiara. This year, I say this year, I see freedom for me, for you. Wake up, stand up, it our keys in our hands. We open, we enter. This year, those of the nose, the kings, his blood, fighting us, killing us, in a long people. Honest, in your shit. Honest, Bande Fundiara.
By the time we finish, Nigeria will no longer exist. That name
we wave goodbye to it. The same way Yugoslavia is gone, the Soviet Union is gone, that same way will the word Nigeria be obliterated from history books. People are stupid and foolish. Nigeria is a reminder that colonial mentality actually seeped into our bone marrows. As somebody reminded us this morning, when somebody from Nigeria prays and says, oh, God bless Nigeria, you are making a mockery of God. God can only bless something that was created. I learned that this morning. God did not create the zoo. Therefore, there is no way God can bless it. It's impossible. Impossible. That hopeless entity that people today say they are very proud to belong to was created by a white man. His name is Frederick Lugard. This man is not from Biafra land. This man is not Hausa Fulani. This man is not Yoruba. But there are some people from black Africa who are willing to go to war to defend what a white man created out of their own subjugation. Who did not create it? A white man did. You asked the white man to go, the white man left and went back. But you retained every vestige of subjugation left. So you can read and write, claiming they are PhD holders, but lack rudimentary, or what I would call common sense. They don't understand how to structure a society. Our forefathers were better political thinkers and philosophers more than the fools that gave us the zoo called Nigeria. They couldn't have come up with never in their lives. Instead, what they did was to surround themselves with the military and the police. Instead, what they did is to ensure the subjugation of their own people by bringing money abroad and banking it abroad. And people are wallowing in abject poverty. There are many things wrong with the way that a black person reasons that sometimes I wonder. I wonder if some of them are human beings at all or not. I wonder seriously. I don't think so.
IPOB, one family. IPOB, one family. One family. IPOB. This song is specially dedicated to all the Biafrans all over the world. Ambo Mazi Nnamdi Samuel Chinonso Amonyo Bolo Amunko Bolo nke dị n'isi ala mba no local government nke dị n'Imo State in Biafra land. Ana m eme egwu a ka njikwa ụwa niile na ihe nwanne anyị nwoke mere adịghị m obi mma. Nwanne anyị nwoke Uche Mefọ ihe o mere adịghị m obi mma. Nwanne anyị nwoke anyị na ya so wee na-achụ mmụọ yo wee tụgharịzie esi anyị na anyị na-esi mmụọ mmụọ. What a betrayal! Ka anyị chịkọta n'aka ya ọnụ ụmụ Biafra ka anyị were n'otu obi n'otu ịhụnanya anyị ga-enweta Biafra nke anyị na-achọ. Ana m ekelekwa onye isi anyị nke bụ Mazi Nnamdi Kanu Ọhamadike, onye nke Chineke họpụtara ka o wee duru anyị n'ala nke Biafra dịka Moses si wee duru ụmụ Israel wee dufe ha n'osimiri uhie. Otu a ka nwanne anyị nwoke a ga-esi wee durukwa anyị duru anyị n'ala nke e kwere anyị na nkwa nke bụ ala Biafra. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu jisi ike n'ọlụ. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu ihe ị na-eme dị anyị mma. Ana m ayọ Chineke nna ka onye kwado ogologo ndụ na arụ isi ike na amamihe nke ị ga-eji wee duru anyị n'ala nke e kwere anyị na nkwa. Onye ọbụla nke na-echere gị echiche ọjọọ, onye ahụ ga-eji isi ya wee buru ya. Ka anyị were n'otu obi anyị ga-enweta ihe anyị na-achọ. jikọta udo gachi Uche mefọ Sleeping DJ obodo dị ka m kpọrọ gị ọkwa ihu na otu isi wee wuo onwe gị n'ala ọkwa ihu na otu isi wee wụkasị onwe gị n'ala to the extent that everywhere all over the world ọ bụ akụkọ gị ka a na-akọzi ebe ọ bụla ị hụrụ mmadụ abụọ ma ọ atọ nọ ọwa akụkọ Uche mefọ ka a na-akọzi otu o si wee wuo onwe ya n'ala otu o si wee disgrace onwe ya otu o si wee betray ya ndị Biafra upon all the trust Mazi Nnamdi Kanu nwere ebe ị nọ gị si otu a wee wuo onwe gị n'ala chiri otu a wee disappoint ndị niile na-eso gị n'azụ Uche mefọ Mazi Nnamdi Kanu trust chara gị to the extent ọ sị na ọ bụrụ na ịwụ nwaanyị ọ gara ịlụ gị otu esi alụ nwaanyị Uche mefọ onye mere gị ihe ọ gaghị adịrị ya na mma ịgbazie life gị na-akọ ihe sọrọ gị gị na-akọ ụdị ihe sọrọ gị na life iche na Mazi Nnamdi Kanu ga-atụfuru gị ọnụ ị na-achọ ka ọ bịa saa gị okwu ọ karịgo that level silence is the best answer to a fool you are just making fool of yourself Uche mefọ ị ma na ọ bụrụ gị ka etinyere na prison wee kwe gị nkwa niile a nke ekwere Mazi Nnamdi Kanu Uche mefọ ị ga-anara ego chi na abalị na-asọ Biafra nke a doro m anya na ị ga-anara ego dị na-asọ Biafra bọtụle Mazi Nnamdi Kanu etinyere ya n'ụlọ mkpọrọ wee kwe ya nkwa niile nke ekwere ya o nweghị ụdị nkwa a na-ekweghị ya ka o wee dị na-asọ Biafra ma Mazi Nnamdi Kanu kwụrụla chi wee kwụsị ike na Biafra si kata o nweghị ike ịdị na-asụ Biafra o kwekwara ya bifo ya baa ime na o nweghị ike ịdị na-asụ Biafra na o nweghị ike ibitre Biafra bọtụ na ndị Biafra ga-ebitre ya ihe ahụ o kwuru abụọ bịara na mmezu this betrayal bidoro from 2015 oge ahụ akpọchiri Mazi Nnamdi Kanu this betrayal bidoro from Imam Mezo and Clifford Iruanya and Uche ọkwa gị nwa the same Uche mefọ onye fight against it but lee na leze ihe na-eme onwe gị ị werela aka gị wee betray izie that same person na fight gbapọ Uche mefọ kedu ihe mere gị ha ihe otu isi wee wuo onwe gị n'ala ihe otu isi wee mebisie aha gị this nonsense human rights ị ga-aga mepe ga-ehi ma maka human rights what do you know about human rights Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is already fighting for human rights he lost his father and his mother in fighting for human rights Uche mefọ you are just a betrayer ị bịaziri na-ekwu na ihe mmiri ji resign ahụ because na egburu mmadụ n'obi Igbo the killings in Obi Igbo take everybody unaware onweghị onye ma about it Uche mefọ what we need is actions what ya Mazi Nnamdi Kanu ekwu eme ka ọwụ lee Eastern Security Network ọ fọmụrụ ya single-handedly and this is not even our army this is just Eastern Security Network our armies will soon surface by the special grace of Chukwu Okike Abịama Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said it forward ever backward never together we move together we achieve this Biafra every sons and daughters of Biafra please I want us to give Mazi Nnamdi Kanu our maximum support ka anyị were n'otu obi we must surely get to the promised land ụmụ Biafra biko ka anyị jikọta udo gachi ụmụ Biafra biko sienụ n'ụjikọta udo gachi ọkwa one family ka anyị ji aga udo gachi ọkwa otu obi ka anyị ji aga udo gachi ụmụ Biafra biko ka anyị jikọta udo gachi Mazi Nnamdi Kanu jisike n'ọrụ ọma gị anyị so gị n'azụ jisike n'ọrụ ọma gị anyị ga-enwe mmeri jisike n'ọrụ ọma gị ihe ga-adị mma ụmụ Biafra biko ka anyị jikọta udogachi. Ụmụ Biafra biko sienu jikọta udogachi. Ọkwa one family ka anyị ji aga jikọta udogachi. Ọkwa otu obi ka anyị ji aga jikọta udogachi. Ụmụ Biafra biko ka anyị jikọta udogachi. Udogachi nile anyị IPOB one family. IPOB one family. One family. IPOB. Ana m ayọkwa Chukwu okike abịama ka onye ndị IPOB ogologo ndụ na-arụ isi ike na amamihe nke ha ga-eji wee rụọ ọrụ a wee ruruo ya n'isi. Anyị ma na ọrụ a adịghị isi, mana onye ọbụla nke ya na Chukwu okike abịama so ụjọ agaghị atụ ya. Nwachukwu okike abịama ọhamadike ihe kwuru gị na-eme. Jisi ike n'ọrụ ọma gị, anyị so gị n'azụ. Jisi ike n'ọrụ ọma gị, anyị ga-enwe mmeri. Jisi ike n'ọrụ ọma gị, ihe ga-adị mma. Ana m ekelekwa all the coordinators all over the world. Ana m ayọkwa Chukwu okike abịama ka onye ọnụ ogologo ndụ na-arụ isi ike nke unu ga-eji wee rụọ ọrụ a wee ruru okwa ya n'isi. Jisie n'ike na ihe ọbụla unu na-eme, were n'otu obi na ihe ọbụla unu na-eme, ma bụrụ na ya n'obi dasa onye ọrụ nwere ụgwọ. No matter what, ka anyị wezụga na ihe ọbụla ga-ebute nkewa n'etiti anyị, maka anyị werekwa n'otu obi wee sọpọtụ nwanne anyị nwoke abụ Mazi Nnamdi Kanu ọhamadike. One thing is sure, at the end, we all shall rejoice. Sure. Ụmụ Biafra biko ka anyị jikọta udogachi. Ụmụ Biafra biko tienu jikọta udogachi. Ọkwa one family ka anyị ji aga jikọta udogachi. Ọkwa otu obi ka anyị ji aga jikọta udogachi. Ụmụ Biafra biko ka anyị jikọta udogachi. Udogachi nile anyị anyị werezienu ya ofu obi ụmụnne. Anyị were ofu obi, anyị ga-enweta ihe anyị na-achọ ụmụnne m. Anyị sọpọtụ nwanne anyị Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Jisi ike n'ọrụ ọma gị, anyị so gị n'azụ. Jisi ike n'ọrụ ọma gị, anyị ga-enwe mmeri. Jisi ike n'ọrụ ọma gị, ihe ga-adị mma. Jisi ike n'ọrụ ọma gị, Biafra ga-enwerịrị isi. Ka anyị were okwu obi nwanne m. Let us take one mind. We shall get to the promised land, my brothers and sisters. Ụmụ Igbo, Izon, Ogoni, Eja, Efik, Ibibio, Aram, Oroni, Igodomigodo, Kogi, Idoma, Benua, Igala, Igede. Please let us join hands together. We are the Biafrans. Let us support the Moses of our own time, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu ọhamadike ndị Biafra. I strongly believe that with one mind, love, and work, we shall get to the promised land by the special grace of Chukwu okike abịama. Ụmụ Biafra biko ka anyị jikọta udogachi. Ụmụ Biafra biko sienu jikọta udogachi. Ọkwa one family ka anyị ji aga jikọta udogachi. Ọkwa otu obi ka anyị ji aga jikọta udogachi. Ụmụ Biafra biko ka anyị jikọta udogachi. Nwachukwu okike abịama ọnwamadike ihe kwuru ka ị na-eme jisike n'ụlọ ọma gị anyị so gị n'azụ jisike n'ụlọ ọma gị anyị ga-enwe mmeri jisike n'ụlọ ọma gị ihe ga-adị mma Nwachukwu okike abịama n'ihi adịlịlị m Mazi Nnamdi Kanu n'ihi adịlịlị m ihe adịlịlị m ihe adịghị echi maka echi adịghị agwụ agwụ ihe adịlịlị m onye nwere gị nwere mmadụ onye ji gị ji mmadụ aga onye nwere gị ụjọ agaghị atụ ya onye ji gị ji mmadụ
or establish that not less than that we're able to trace 419 names. So you can now see that we are correct after all. So a few days ago we did a review because in social science investigation or research it is allowed. It says
sorry, can I interject here? 419 names of
the abductees, the people abducted from Ubibo. 419 names as we speak have been traced. And out of these 419 names, 208 have been freed. You understand? Remaining 211. Yes. I just got information now that 30 of the 53 Obibo women among them, young women among them, have just been freed. That is information I got about a minute ago. And the effort has been made to free, I think that should be 33 others because they were 53 in number located. A review, and we reviewed this thing upwards, and they placed it within the confines of 550.
Nobody knew that they were holding some people. Although I understand that those abductees must have been transferred to them belatedly by the Nigerian army. So they brought out 22 fresh names, fresh persons, and they arraigned and they were granted bail. Now, again, the DSS, I think on Monday this week, brought out the 53 women because, before now we have exposed the DSS and accused them of holding 53 young Obibo women, who were abducted from Obibo. So just like this week, Monday, they brought them out and arraigned them. They brought them out shackled and arraigned them in court, and they were granted bail. Then on the process again, it was discovered that there were 26 other names that nobody is aware of that, are still being detained or held by DSS, making the total, I think 26 plus 53 is, how many? Is 79, if I'm not mistaken. And among those 79, 53 are women, 26 are men. So that is the situation. As if that is not enough, another discovery was made in faraway Suleja stroke Bida Aziz in Niger State of the captivity of 100 and the fresh names totaling 110. Those ones are still there. They were abducted.
And these are related to Obibo.
Obibo. All these people are Obibo abductees. We got, it's a through high wired information, contacts and what have you. For instance, in that, the latest, the one I'm telling you now, we got to know of it through one guy who is 23 years, who went missing on 28th October at Imo River. So the guy happens to be a conductor. So the family gave us information, located Inter-Society, and gave Inter-Society information. Evis Ngozi Chibo is the name. And they told us how the guy went missing, how the guy was abducted. He was abducted alongside others while they were heading to Port Harcourt in a commercial vehicle where he was serving as a conductor. So from there to 144 Battalion, Asa, from there to Bori Camping, that is 6th Division, in Port Harcourt. From there, no more. He disappeared alongside others, and the family took the courage and they went to the extent of contacting an army officer who, helped them, assisted them. And lately, the army officer informed them that, of course, he's an army officer of Northern Extraction. So he was there. He was one of those guiding them when they were brought to 6th Division. So he told them that he has succeeded in locating the guy to an army base. That's how he put it. To an army base located between Kuje and Niger. Kuje and Niger State. That's how he put it. So, and then I relayed information to Barrister and then others who are assisting, and behold, it was discovered that the same guy we are talking about, in alongside 109 others, are presently held captive in an army base, that is Nigerian Army Commando base, located between Suleja and Bida in Niger State. And of course, I'm sure you know that Niger State has the largest landmass in Nigeria. The landmass on Niger State is a kind of almost roughly 3 times that of the entire Southeast put together. 3 times the landmass of Southeast. So you can imagine that is where 110 of our people, of our defenseless residents of Obibo, have been held captive for more than 4 months. So that is the summary of the situation.
Now, to make sense out of the narration that you've given, in essence, we have a space where something happened in Rivers State, and these people were arrested in Rivers. No crime known, like you said, the dark conductor, they were on their way somewhere in a van, and he got abducted, taken to Niger State. When in Niger State, they were kept in army detention, not even the police, right? They were kept in army detention. Okay.
Abducted by army, and held captive by army.
Okay. And were there, were there documentations, were there efforts, were those people allowed to contact their families?
That is exactly the point. When we use the word, any reasonable and well-grounded human rights crusader or activist must first of all have legal knowledge of the situation on the ground. When we say abduction, it now boils down to the question you just asked. Abduction by who? By Nigerian Army. Under the existing laws of the country, Nigerian Army lacks power to arrest, detain, investigate, and prosecute citizens or civilians who are not subject to the Armed Forces Act of 2004. The Federal High Court recently gave a validation to that effect in a landmark ruling that took place sometime in last month in February. So that's the word. And another aspect of it is that you have just captured it. Thank you very much for that, your wonderful observation. You cannot, when you abduct, when you said you are arresting somebody, and let me use the word for not conceding to that fact. Let me use the word arrest in quote. You arrest somebody, you excommunicate the person for his family. You do not, you fail to allow the person access to his family, to his physicians, to his lawyers, to anything that has to do with his family and the beloved ones. You did not, put the arrest, the arrest in quote, to public knowledge. Nowhere was that a so-called arrest reported or recorded officially, or through a public statement, or through official record of Nigerian Army. So, and again, you move the persons you arrested in the dead of the night. You transfer them to you start moving them from one military barrack to another. For instance, when they were abducted, they were first taken to 6th Division at night. From there, they moved them to Obize the same night. The next day, they saw themselves at Obibo in Owerri. Then they kept them there. In the night again, they start moving them with the same vehicle they were brought to Obinze. The next morning, they saw themselves at Mogadishu barracks in Abuja, and so on and so forth. So you find out that that kind of thing cannot be validly called arrest, even if it was conducted by the Nigerian Police Force or DSS, not to talk of when it was perpetrated by Nigerian Army. That is the position of the law.
Well, I mean, listening to the things you've just said, and I keep asking myself, since this incident, because Obibo, obviously this incident happened, or rather started October 2020. Since Inter-Society, which you are the board chairman, got involved in this, have you been able to extract any more information directly from the police or the Nigerian army?
Well, the information we have is that there is no need of wasting your time extracting information from an securitization agency of the government that is not directly responsible for the incident or the atrocity conduct we are under complaint. We did a very thorough investigation on Obibo. The computation of that report is still ongoing by Inter-Society. By the way, the Obibo we are talking about, what happened at Obibo wasn't restricted to Obibo. It can properly be described as mob action, and it was widespread across the country. Now, coming to your question, there is no all effort to get the army speak failed woefully. But the only thing is that you must know that facts are sacred. If a professor is expert in speaking grammar, you can only slap and quieten that professor with statistics and facts. So also the agencies of government. But since we have been able to do our thorough independent investigation, irrefutable and irrebuttable, the Nigerian army has run away from speaking on that particular issue. And by the way, it may interest you to know that all the abductions that took place in Obibo were perpetrated by Nigerian army. The Nigerian army solely abducted those people and solely took them to where they are presently being detained, and that is the situation. And our information was also collaborated by interviews conducted received from some of the freed victims. For instance, we didn't know that women, the women up to 50 were among those that were abducted. We didn't know. It was in the course of our interview with two young ladies that were freed in January, that they told us that in that female guard room at Mogadishu Barrack, they saw another set of Obibo women numbering over 50. That's how they put it. And so on and so forth, even the cause of raping them, that all of them were in the same guard room and what have you. So it was from that information that we now spread our tentacles and behold, through the
May I interject at this point? Let me stay with the women you've mentioned, about 53 of them. You just quickly said here that the information you had was that these women were abducted from Obibo and they were raped. Did I hear you say that?
I think we should have allowed me to land in. I know.
Okay, please go ahead. I mean,
so you can just note it down. So when I must have landed, you can come back with the question, no problem. So as I was saying, so those two ladies were interviewed, and they told us shockingly that, look, Oga, we are not the only female there. In fact, in the course of finding ourselves in the female guard room at Mogadishu Barracks, Now we came across, we discovered that there were 50 Obibo women that were, detained, abducted and detained with us. That's this thing. We said, is that so? They said yes. So after the interview with the ladies, we now spread our tentacles. And behold, the names were allocated to, by the time we intervened, because those women were freed in January, the two ladies were freed in January, and we interviewed them in February, on February 8th. So from that February 8th, we got information, that type of shocking information from them. We now decided to make more inquiries. And in the course of inquiries, we discovered that true, that those women have been in the captive of Nigerian security forces, and presently they are being detained by the DSS. And when we did further investigation, we found out that they were detained severally by the army before being handed over to the DSS. And we, of course, we swung into action and got their names. And we released a statement accusing the DSS of holding 53 young Obibo women. And up to today, some media guys went to DSS spokesman, that one or something, Peter somebody, Dr. Peter somebody. And I said the guy declined. He didn't make any comment on that. Do you understand? So, and as we speak now, my brother Tochukwu, I can confirm to you authoritatively that not only that those women were arraigned on Monday by the same DSS, and they were granted bail leniently, but also as we speak. In fact, your medium is the first to break this news. As we speak, not less than 5 minutes ago, 30 of them have been freed, and efforts are still being made to get the remaining 23 out, alongside 26 other, those 26 have not been, the 26 other males among them have not, their bails have not been processed. But I think he's talking about the other 22 from the other side, brought out by police. So, my brother, that is the situation on the ground. That is what we have found. And the facts are sacred, like I said. Facts do not lie. So, that is the situation.
So, basically, if I say that I'm not dumbfounded, I must be lying. That would be an understatement. Now, these women were kept there as probably, quote unquote, sex slave for over 4 months.
Well, we can now come back to your earlier question, very inquisitive and curious. So what happened was, in the course of interviewing the young ladies, one is 22 years, one is 23 years. Those young ladies told us, it's very shocking. They told us what happened. They were serially raped. And they also confirmed that in the course of their captivity in the Nigerian army at Mogadishu barracks, they were there with 50 something, more than 50 other women. And it was not only 2 of them that were raped. That what the soldiers did normally do, I don't know how to put it, was, they come today, they say, you, come here. They pick them, that is random selection. They take them out to their dungeon, to their rape confine within the barrack, and they rape them serially. Then after that, they bring them back. Well, the next day, they come back, and so on and so forth. To the extent that one of these 2 women, who was a virgin, when she was struggling with them, 23 years, I think she's the one that is 22 years, when she was struggling with them, she made them to know that she is a virgin. And little do she know that she had just announced, giving the beastly soldiers the delicious food they were looking for. And they mercilessly raped this girl to the extent of inflicting injuries or bruises on her laps and what have you. So it was along that, and to the extent that the ladies also told us Now, one of them was raped. She fainted and she died. And they gave the name of that lady as Victoria. And they said they did not know the whereabouts of her remains or corpse. So it was from here, from this point, that we got to know that the other ladies among those 53 women also were made rape victims. But not to worry, more revelations are going to come out. But we are just talking about those that we have interviewed and have them on record and on camera.
And this, from your listen, I am the words you've just said. Kind of as a father, I know how it feels for this.
It's shocking. It's shocking. It is shocking.
I'm speechless. I'm speechless to note that those we pay tax to for the protection of the collective, quote unquote, would be in a position to do this to innocent people. I mean, it's unbelievable. But this is the work you do, my Emeka. The question that I would then ask you is there any way you think that this, or rather justice, could be, there could be justice for the people that were abused? I mean, I'm not talking about the ones that have been illegally detained for 4 months. Obviously, no crime is less, but it's for the abuse victims. Do you think there is any support?
Well, the two ladies already, their names already ringing bell in certain sensitive quarters all across the world. So this is a very shocking situation. And I'm aware that those who are being freed are likely to be taken to certain sensitive quarters by, in coming days or something like that, for those responsible to see, to see what has happened to them. So, of course, there must be justice. And this is more so when crime is not status bar. Crime does not have a expiring date. But I think when something happens like this, in criminology and law, processes are bound. When something happened, for instance, I did not even remember to tell you that soldiers also acted as armed robbers in the course of abducting all the victims. Do you know that among those women, of course, you have a mother, you have a wife, you have relatives that are females. You know how women think and run. Do you know that those 53 women, now 55, including 50, I think 57 now, because among those 22 persons that police belatedly arraigned on Friday last week, among them were 2 women, and they are yet to be freed because of the efforts to fulfill their bail condition. So one thing I didn't let you know is that there was soldiers, our dear soldiers of the Nigerian army also became armed robbers in the course of abducting them, because all their belongings, the phone, the sanitary pads inside the bag, you don't go to the bag of a woman, that, but inside the bag of a woman, I'm sad, but I'm just laughing anyway. So, a lot of things from what we asked them, from inside the 2 women we interviewed. What happened? How about their bags and what have they said? Everything. If they bought new underwears, all of them disappeared. ATM
okay, but hold on. Now you are talking about this. Now, these women were abducted. Obviously, they were not charged. They didn't go. It wasn't arrested. It wasn't an arrest by the police. That meant it's an illegal arrest, meaning they had no prison cloth, meaning they kept the same cloth that they wore, and apparently, and invariably the same underwear that they wore at the point of arrest. They just, I mean,
that is exactly the point we are making. You abducted somebody, you took away all his or her belongings. If the person abducted was a woman, you took away her bag, and inside her bag, both ATM card, the national ID card, money. If the lady was a sales girl, you took away money that catch some that were realized from daily sales, and so on and so forth. Her sanitary parts, her bra, if she, decided to have space and what have you. They catch everything, ATM, phone, SIM card, loaded the credit, the data, this, that, and what have you. All those things we are taken away from them. And we were made, subjected to wear, like you said, one set of underwears for a period of 4 months. Nothing. Their families were not away. Nobody was allowed to access them, and so on and so forth. Only God knows. So the soldiers acted as armed robbers, because do you know why we say that? We have been able to release 208 of them, excluding the 30 that have just been announced freed. We have been able to release 208 of them.
So on the screen here, you will have some of them in court. Were these among these people that we can see?
Yeah. No, yes, these are the 63 people that were released before this one, before the ongoing process. Do you understand? Okay. So look at these guys now. Those guys you see there, all those clothes you see them wearing were bought newly. All the sandals or what have you see them wearing were bought newly. Every damn thing.
The bedroom slippers and the
they cannot wear one bedroom slippers for 4 months. So maybe because of the cost and so that's the thing. Everything they wear there was got. Do you know that at a point in the course of releasing freeing about 7 of them, abandoned at a DSS abandoned facility back in January. The DSS refused, insisted that they must be cleaned up before they can release them. So that made the good Samaritans to bring in the new clothes which they wore and things like that before they were allowed before they were freed. So, my submission is that the soldiers of Nigerian army became armed robbers too. They also robbed them, because all the people that were freed, none of them recovered a dime. None of them recovered a single item that he or she was with during the time of his or her abduction. None of them. None of those items has been cited today. And there is also danger. For instance, there is most likelihood that their bank account must have been tampered by way of fraudulent withdrawal. Do you understand? These are the things we're talking about. So a lot of things, of course, you know that in crime, somebody can go for break and burglary, and along the line commit another set of offense like armed robbery, like stealing, and so on and so forth, like aggravated assault, like property damage. Whereas originally he was accused of burglary. So that is exactly the same. So there is a litany of crimes, and those crimes are heinous. But that is the situation. It's not the issue of saying people were abducted and held for 4 months. What is the position of the law, position of the constitution with respect to all these things, vis-a-vis those who abducted them, and the provision of the law? Is also another aspect of what we are talking about, because we cannot pretend to be, if we hold this program and get me and participated in this program, and in the end there is no citation of what the law says, then it will look as if that Nigeria is a jungle. Nigeria is a lawless society where anybody can do anything and get away with it.
So thank you very much. So through your effort and the effort of Inter-Society, over 500 of these young men and women been discovered. Now we are only talking about the ones that are lucky to be alive. If my memory serves me right, I recall that you once made a publication as to the ones that weren't so lucky to be alive. Can you walk us through that? You know, you
know what happened in the whole thing. The whole thing started. The discovery started in Niger State, where the lawyer doggedly and powerfully discovered that these guys were abducted and taken to Niger State, where they were detained in 4 secret military or army dungeons located in Jeba, Zungeli, Katangola, and one other city in Niger State. So when 52 of them that were discovered were freed through judicial process by High Court of Niger State, by Magistrate Court of Niger State, and by Federal High Court of Niger State, then we interviewed some of them, and we found out that about 3 of them died in custody. I think including one Iwagu and Anyang, and one other that whose first name was already given. There are people who died because those people know them too well, and they said they died in military custody in the course of their detention in Niger State. So that is the thing, and then the investigation, like I said, is still ongoing. So in the course of further investigation, we are going to find out whether some people were also, other people who, if any, were tortured to death in the course of being held captive in the military and Nigerian army dungeons, secret dungeons located in different parts of northern Nigeria. So that is the situation. So you are in order. And we have that record.
Okay, thank you very much. So, and again, those confessional statements by those that were abused, the ladies that were abused, you said you have those statements also in audio and in video as well, right?
No, of course, the audio, is a sensitive issue. So it's not the same way you record them. Confessional statement of those who were, held captive for 4 months is the same way you are going to record this one. So you must have to understand the fact that these are young women who have future and all that, and use the best application, the safest method of getting them talk, and that's exactly what we have done.
Okay. That's marvelous, and it will help in the prosecution, I believe, of these case later. Now, before I get the public who have joined us here to chip in with one or two questions, I would want to know, what is your view and what role do you think that the governor of Rivers State played in all this? Because obviously you started by saying that when we had the NSAS was a nationwide issue. So from your engagement with what has happened in Obibo, question therefrom is, what happened in Rivers State that made it a different kettle of fish?
Well, the governor in question, who says he's a lawyer, is complicit. Is inescapably complicit. And most of our researches and investigations and publications are guided by law. And to that effect, the law has a provision to assess some of these things. For instance, the governor is vicariously liable. He's vicariously liable. He made a declaration, he imposed coffee, he gave a criminological theory that was later found to be half-baked or untruth. He said He had intelligence that those who killed. So meanwhile, the same governor didn't see anything wrong in killing of civilians. Dozens of civilians were killed at that particular point in time. But the governor was too particular about the safety of uniformed personnel and all that, that is police and army. So the governor said he had intelligence that those people who killed soldiers and policemen, for example, 6 soldiers or policemen or thereabout, were members of IPOB or IPOB terrorists, as he put it. He said he had intelligence. Now, on account of the so-called intelligence, he imposed coffee and he invited the army. So you look at it from the legal point of view, the governor misfired, he goofed unpardonably. His behavior was unloyal. He did not act as a lawyer. Because as a lawyer and as a Democrat, what he should have done is that the same intelligence that reviewed, disclosed to you that those people who were responsible for the killing of soldiers and policemen are particular members of a particular group. This intelligence would have also led the governor to fish out, use, through the process of deployment of the detectives and the intelligence agents to go after those people. Because if intelligence report has told you who committed what, this intelligence report would have, it should tell you where the person that committed what can be found. That's the logic. That's the law. So, but trying to, I think the governor went out of the way. The governor politicized, reason best known to him. He politicized the whole thing. He turned what was clearly mob action. In international terminology, what happened in Nigeria is called violent protest. Violent protest, instigated by state agents. The protest didn't start violently, but it started peacefully, and state agents instigated it. For instance, the Lekki massacre. For instance, the sponsorship of hoodlums on religious ground, who went after those who do not support, who didn't support the protest. Those who supported the protest and their allies, and started attacking them and destroying their property to the extent of killing dozens of them across the country. Then the peak of it was the Lekki massacre. It was at this particular point in time, the protest, people got angry and they became violent. And the violence spread across the country. And it was not restricted to Obibo. And that is why it can best be described as mob action or a fallout of a violent protest. And the governor hijacked it and used it to play politics to the extent of inciting the security agencies against the innocent and defenseless Obibo people, and to the extent of inviting army, the army that has secularity question that has remained unanswered today. And that's exactly what happened. So the governor is culpable. Is inescapably culpable. Likewise, the GOC of 6th Division and other principal officers of the division, and those we are compiling their names, and of course the immediate past chief of army staff. So that is the thing, because when Nigerians thought that, when they told Nigerians that they were moving into Obibo for professional army operation or military operation, we didn't know that they were going to Obibo to execute an ethnic agenda, because the gravity of atrocities, the level of atrocities that happened in that Obibo, I mean, there is no better way to describe it than execution of ethnic agenda and ethnic cleansing, originating from what we call racial profiling, ethnic profiling. That's exactly what happened at Obibo. So that's the thing.
But
so
Obibo,
Wike is like colossally culpable. It's inescapable culpable. That is
yes, I do appreciate. I do appreciate that fact, but in trying to drive the narrative of ethnic profiling, now I am made to understand that in Obibo you have Igbos, Ikweres, Eches, and many more other ethnic nationalities there.
It depends on the historical background, the historical facts you have, and I'm sure you are aware that. Am I still communicating?
Yes, we're here, but it appears your camera has gone off. But go ahead.
Okay, so what we are talking about is dependent on the historical facts. The Kwele, the Che, the this, the that, the Anioma, the Esnifite, the Nbise, the what have you. All these people are fundamental component of Igbo Federation, Igbo ethnic nationality. I'm telling you as a researcher. So those people, you are talking about mini. They are not even micro nationalistic component. They are component of Igbo Federation. Obibo is a densely Igbo populated area of River State. So if you are talking about a part of it.
Oh, okay. Sadly here, I think the connection to my good friend Emeka is gone off. And we will be reconnecting back to him and we see how that goes. While we wait, many of you, if you want to speak while I want to get Emeka back on, Marcel, I can see, you are in the house. Can we quickly have some, yourself and Mazo Biokoli maybe, if we can quickly have one or two of your submissions before the main guest joins us back again. So,
okay, thank you so much, Mazi Ejoke. I'm as shocked as anyone that's hearing this. I mean, at a point, I just closed my eyes and it was like, tears wants to drop off my eyes, and I was like, I mean, this is really happening in a country and all of us feel normal. Mogadishu barracks that was mentioned is just few miles away from Aso Rock, seat of power. I mean, for those of you that knows Abuja very well, Mogadishu barrack is just at the back of Aso Rock. So it beats my imagination. I mean, I've been to these barracks. I have friends there, so I normally go there for the fish market. And that was the same barracks that was bombed the very first time when the Boko Haram issue started. Now, the fish market used to be outside the barracks when it was bombed, and then after that incident, they moved it into the barracks. So it's a place I go regularly. So to think that the place I go to meet my friends and to hang out with my friends for fish and drink is the same place where over 50 of Nigerian women, young ladies, 23 virgins, could be held captive and then raped consistently for 4 months. It's crazy. I mean, I don't just want to imagine it. Even in a war situation, if Nigeria is fighting war with another country, there's rules of engagement. In a war situation, they are what they call prisoners of war. When you even have people that you caught in the act, as in real fierce battle, and you arrest them, international regulations has situations that you have to treat prisoners of war. Now, this is not a war situation. This is a national army to its citizens. Again, we need to put this to perspective, because when people keep saying Obibo residents, I don't want to call them Obibo residents. I call them Nigerians. And that is the narration that has to go out, because some people will feel very, very unconcerned. 50 women moved from a particular location overnight to another location in the capital city. It looks as if most atrocities that's actually happening in Nigeria is actually happening behind the president's backyard, and nothing is happening. We know what happened during the NSAS protest, where people came out on the street of Abuja with weapons and government SUV vehicles unmarked and started ordering thugs around. So it looks as if most of the atrocities happening in Nigeria actually happens just behind the presidential system. One of the questions I might want to ask him when he comes back is that those one that was known.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. I think Emeka, welcome back.
We lost momentarily.
Yes.
Sorry about
that.
Okay, thank you.
That's fine. Can you go ahead with your presentation that you? Yeah.
Okay. Me? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it me or him?
No, you, because you're being you're the speaker.
Okay. So I was making reference to law. I say section 35(4) is very clear. Section 35(4) talks about the duration within which a citizen of Federal Republic of Nigeria validly or invalidly accused of committing the highest crime in the land can be held before being taken to court for purpose of investigation. And it's very clear. And in this particular section is in gross breach under the in the instant case. Then if you also look at section 36(4)(5) of the same constitution, within the one that talks about right to fair hearing. So you also find out that it was also in gross breach in the present, in the case, in the instant case. So there is no, and again, you look at the, let me use the word in quote, arresting authority. How does the law, do they have a position in the law? The people, the agency of government that perpetrated that act, was illegal? Is it allowed to do that? My answer is that it has no, the Nigerian army has no question, it has no basis. The Nigerian army acted abominably and atrociously. It has no constitutional backing. It has no legal backing. Like I said, army is disempowered to arrest, detain, investigate, prosecute civilians or citizens that are not subject to the Armed Forces Act of 2004. That is to say, army was created to manage its own business. That is why you now see you have this court-martial thing. Army cannot court-martial civilians. Army can only court-martial members of Nigerian armed forces, bound or guided by the Armed Forces Act of 2004. So everything that the army did, that is why when we started exposing them, what they did was to start transferring those people, transfer those people, those in their captivity hurriedly to DSS and other facilities, just to escape. But then it was already too late. As we speak now, the Nigerian army is still holding 110 of our innocent and defenseless brothers in far away Niger State, in Bida, for over 4 months. They are still there as we speak. So there is no basis. The army, the law says, if for any reason the army arrests, because power of arrest is exercised by everybody, including you, Tochukwu, or and others who are listening to us. But the law says when you arrest and you are not competent to detain or investigate or try, you hand over. So how can Nigerian army abduct citizens, held them in captivity for over 4 months without handing them over? They can't even send them to court because they lack power of prosecution. They can't prosecute. You see? So in essence, the law is very clear. When law is written in black and white, it goes beyond argumentation and sentiments. Sure. You can, as we speak now, Google the Constitution. You have it. You are ICT expert. You have expertise in ICT. Google the 1999 Constitution. Go to section 35, subsection 4, and see it for yourself. Go to section 36(5), sub 5, and see it for yourself. Go to section 42, freedom from discrimination, and see it there. Go to section 33, right to life, you see it there. Dignity of human person, 34, and see it there. Personal liberty, 35, and see it there. And so on and so forth.
Does the Constitution mean anything
No, but that is the no. But if you are at the end of the day, if at the end of the day you take them to court, the judge will be first with looking at the Constitution. That is the grand norm. You have no. We are not an anarchical country. We are not a lawless country. The Constitution is there. Is the law for now. So, and it is our responsibility, me and you, to point these things out. Never mind that sometimes when people do the analysis, they do them outside the facts and law. You must have to anchor whatever you are submitting within the confines of law and facts. These are the two things.
Okay, thank you very much. So before I let others come in and ask questions, can we quickly? Obviously, these things has happened. I'm aware that these crimes are very, very serious crimes that should be looked into beyond even the nation called Nigeria. Therefore, the question is, does INSA Society have any plans to approach other international organizations to seek for justice and redress?
Of course, the answer is yes, and but it's not only restricted to inter-society. You know, one thing with good data mining is that when you embark on data mining, and in the end you're able to be successful in such an embarkation, what is required is for the organization to take it to the next level, or another organization or anybody to take it to the next level. What is required is just for you to acknowledge the intellectual rights of the originator of the research work or investigation, and that's all. But right now, what we are trying to do is to look at what is obvious. And what is it that is obvious? Our brothers and our sisters, hundreds of them are still languishing. There are those that we have not discovered, we are yet to discover. Maybe in coming weeks, because of the attacks, because of the exposition and what have you, the authorities of the government, securitization authority of Nigeria, of the government of Nigeria, will be able to arraign more people, or we will be able to discover more names and their locations. And when such discoveries are made, then the needful will be done. So, and when you find, like for instance now, there is nothing you can do for now, primarily, than to get those 110 of our people who are languishing in faraway Bida out and allow them to breathe a fresh air of freedom. Just as same thing with those people, the 26 fresh names that have just been discovered languishing in the DSS, and all those people that have been granted bail, but they are yet to be free. So you have to make effort to make sure that they are freed. And from there, you take it. Like I said, crime is not status bar. Crime doesn't have a spiraling death. The man who was the president of Chad, look at when he was president, 1990 to what? And today is serving life jail and what have you. So crime has no that, and you are correct also when you mention the issue of international dimension of the atrocity crimes that we are complaining. Yes, of course. Apart from the 1999 Constitution, there are a lot of several international law treaties that are binding on Nigeria, with legal binding effect on Nigeria, which Nigeria voluntarily acceded or made itself a state party. So, and And these laws are also being extracted, and a lot of options are being extracted too. So at the appropriate time, international mechanisms of justice shall be fully exploited in this respect. But for now, what we are trying to do, like I said, is to make sure that those who are still unlawful behind bars are freed and allowed to have a fresh air of freedom. Then we take it from there. But like I said, other organizations can as well do. A lot other organizations can do. Any other person can take it to the next stage. So that is exactly the point. In fact, we are working towards, concluding the report on Obibo. So when we are done with the report on Obibo, it can now be a valid document which anybody can cite. Good that in inter-society has earned the credibility all over the world. So our reports are very much acceptable widely. So that is the situation for now.
Well, thank you very much, for that great insight into what is happening. And on that note, I will take questions from the audience, and kindly raise your hand if you want to ask or make any comment. If it's a question, please not more than 30 seconds. If it's an input, not more than 2 minutes. Now, I will take Mwachuku. Please, can you unmute yourself and kindly make your presentation?
Yeah, Mazi, okay. I greet you. Thank you for the good job you are doing. I'm calling from Iceland.
Go ahead and make your presentation or ask your question to the guest, please. Thank you.
Yeah, my question is this. First of all, I have heard about these issues of kidnap, and I know our leader have made a frantic effort. That is what is making an improvement of their release. So I want to thank you for the good job you are doing. So my question is this: what is the governor? Because this is the people of his state that this thing happened to. What is the position of the governor in respect of these said people? Because Obibo is in Rivers State. So what is his full responsibilities? Because he is the principal person who is in charge of the state. Will be held is accountable to any citizen that is
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So can I take the next person? Kevin will go. Can you quickly ask your question, please, Kevin?
Good day, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, quickly. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, good day, everybody. Good day, Mazi. Thank you for having me. So I think mine is the kind of suggestion and also to say what, I think one thing in Nigeria is the blood. The only thing that is holding Nigeria one up to date is the blood of. I don't know why they cherish like I've been hearing this thing the whole night. I've been shedding tears. I've been like, wow. So this thing has been happening, and this man called himself a governor. He's been walking around everywhere, smiling, happy, and he knows about all these things. You can't tell me he doesn't know. He's aware of all these things that are happening. So I feel like it is time for everybody, for mostly with Igbos, to know that the only thing that makes Nigeria one today is the blood of the Igbos. And the earlier we realize this, that is nothing. Even if we go to international, these people, they have more money, they have more connect. Even no news have ever heard about. Even AIT, and all of them, they have never carried about this news to show you that they love it when Igbos are being massacred, are being killed. So my thing is, please let us join hand and see what we can do for mostly for our Igbos. Nigeria is not for us. Thank you, please. Thank you a
Thank
lot.
you very much. I think Uche Eze, can you please ask your question quickly? Uche
Okay.
Eze, quickly.
Okay. I would like to thank my brother Mecca for coming up with this information to us. I have two questions. What are the reasons given to you by the army? And two, has any organization made any contact with you guys? Thank you.
When you say any organization, what do you mean? So what sort of
Any,
organization?
I mean like human rights organization. That's what I meant.
Inter-society
In
is
terms of,
kind of like inter-society
yeah,
is a
I
human
know.
rights organization.
I know. I mean, if other ones had made, for example, international human rights or,
Okay.
other ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I mean, Emeka, I think the two questions there, you can take those questions first, then we'll come back again and take a couple of them before we round up. Quickly.
Just remind me if I forget. One question. The first question is talking about asking, or rather asking what the governor of Rivers State has done or is doing. And I think
yes.
The governor of Rivers State is fully aware of what is going on. He's a barrister. He's a governor of one of the high-profile states in Nigeria, and he was at the center, and he's still at the center of the atrocity crimes. I've explained it at the beginning of this program that he invited the soldiers, and after I think when he got the wind of the level of atrocities perpetrated by soldiers, he started showing off. Is it image, what do you call it? Do you people call it image laundering or what have you? He started trying to do one or two things just to brush aside or to dwarf the atrocity crimes under complaint. For instance, he started by inviting some persons to come and commission this project, that project, and what have you. But during that time that happened, when he got the hint, he started inviting groups after groups, and when they started telling them, look, they said I killed Igbos at Obibo. Nobody was killed. They are lying, this, that, and what have you. I remember Hannes and Igbo then going to clap for him without visiting the crime scene. I also remember the Southeast governors visiting him, and so on and so forth. So he's not he is aware of what happened. But the only thing is that there is no Nigerians are not kind of people that easily say sorry or to show remorse whenever they get involved in this type of atrocities. But that what they will, instead of showing remorse, they will insist in trying to do everything within their power to suppress or to justify what they have done. So that is exactly the fact with the problem with the weak, and the weak is a kind of arrogant that is disturbing him. He never. There is nothing. I don't think there is anything he can do, because doing anything in a contrary will mean him, probating and reprobating. So I think he is doing everything possible to suppress the facts and what have you. But you can't suppress facts. So that is the situation. That is why we say, come rain, come sunshine. He's involved. He's a complicit, inescapably speaking. The second question is talking about what our organization, whether we have been contacted with respect to this by any other organization. Of course, well, we are not bothered about waiting for anybody to contact us. But I can tell you here that we have received tremendous solidarity as well as this matter is concerned, but from people and the groups that are sane and that are humanistic nature. And I don't want to go into the workings of some organizations. Some organizations prefer to inherit a phenomenon exclusively, and whenever there is this thing, so they don't. So, but I know that a lot of people recently we came up with a coalition, an international coalition that which Tochukwu's Zoke's group is part of them, and they spoke thunderously and internationally on the same issue. And the thing is ongoing. It's not ending tomorrow. Crime does not end. Does not happen and end. Same day it happened or it was perpetrated. So it's something that requires consistency and what have you. So we're on it, and as weeks or months come and go, people we continue to understand the dimension the matter is taking. It has happened and it has happened, and this is more so when the lawyers and criminologists will always tell you that when a crime is committed and it is not properly documented, investigated and documented, then no crime has been committed, and you have technically set free the perpetrators. But when it is committed and it is properly investigated and documented, then we have then a crime has not only been committed, but the perpetrators have been marked and given a kind of a dent for the rest of their life, because they will never know peace for the rest of their life because it is already databased. Thank you so much. Am I forgetting any other question, please?
No. I think that those are clearly the two questions. But let me bring in Mazi Obiokul. Ojoli Bozi, you're welcome here. So can I have your contribution or your question to Emeka?
Chief Ezeoke, thank you so much for this opportunity. Emeka, I greet you with the sincere greetings of peace.
And I'm seeing you for the first time. Well done.
We have been talking for quite some time. Chief Ezeoke, the honest truth here is that ever since I became a human rights activist from civil liberties organization, the conduct of the Nigerian army has remained consistent without change. And the honest truth is that there has not been so many organizations like Inter-Society who has challenged them to do right in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And secondly, the apathy and the attitude of our people in the eastern part of Nigeria specifically has always been that of disdain, because we do not pay any attention to our citizens. You saw what happened in Ibadan, and about 4 governors went down to Ibadan to discuss when there was a conflict between the Yorubas and the Hausas. But in our own case, you were a witness to what happened with Modo going to River State and our governors. Nobody cared to go to Obibo. I was consistently highlighting this fact that we already judged our people, found them guilty, and left them to die. Now, the rape of these women and the other 109 still left in Bida, it aroused so much pain in our hearts. And when we got in touch with Inter-Society, the question we wanted to ask them first was, how are you guys coping, and do you need help? And we only found out that they did not even have enough money to prosecute these things. And we sent out letters to a lot of Igbo organizations in diaspora, and regrettably, only one of the organizations responded. The rest of them up to today felt it did not concern them. And some of these organizations, painfully, are even run by women who know that virgins from Igbo land, which is what in Igbo society happened, and Alo Melo. And these women did not show any empathy nor concern, even to call Inter-Society to ask questions and understand the pain and the whole process of what inter-society is going through to get these women freed. And up till as we speak now, the Igbo society is doing nothing. Njenje media can only do what it can do. You're doing your best as a human being. But again, Igbo people need to invest in media, and the Igbo people need to begin to tell their stories. I've heard a lot of our people complain about the Yoruba media, not AIT and the rest. They cannot tell your story. Our stories need to be told by us. Njenje is doing so much for our people, for Nigerians and everybody. You're giving people the platform to air their voices. But in terms of human rights, Nigerian human rights has never improved. Rather, it has deteriorated under this regime. I remember as student union leaders, we were picked in Port Harcourt, and before we knew what was happening, that was in 1987, we ended up in Meduguri prison, and that is the worst prison then that you can be dropped in. They left us there for 3 months, and one morning they just opened the door and said, hey, Malamobi, Ayakwongo, just go, nothing, no money, nothing, and we had to go to the Igbo traders in Meduguri. They contributed money and gave to us that we went back to the University of Jos. So this attitude of inhuman treatment of Igbos and a lot of Nigerians have been consistent. It is only now that a lot of organizations as inter-society is beginning to call them into question, and we need to do a lot to bring the European Union, the International Court of Justice, and other human rights citizens go and other human rights organizations to the know and understanding of what is really happening in Nigeria. As we speak, Nigeria is going into abyss. There is no law, there is no order anymore. Each day you can see what is happening. So, but in terms of Obiwo, I have repeatedly said it, even as we speak, Chief Ezeoke, as we speak, send your journalists to Obiwo. Obiwo is still under siege. You have to drive around. You cannot go anymore from School Road into Obiwo. From the express, you have to go around multiple roads before you're able to get into the Obiwo main town from the other side of the express road going towards School Road. The other Umuebule side is a little bit free. So they are still under siege. They are still being maltreated. Some of them are still paying bribe to be able to access their properties and their goods in Obibo. So the oppression has not stopped.
Sorry, Mazi Obiokoli, may I interject? To who are they paying this bribe to?
When you, for instance, there was an incident we had, a young man who was shot, was hiding in one of the rooms, and we tried to get him out. We now had to get a police officer from Port Harcourt to drive down there to see how to get this guy out of the place to the hospital. There was a total blockage, and they had to pay people to be able to access School Road in Obibo, and even getting up to the main market, the market in Obibo. So the siege is still continuing. It's not like Obibo is now free for you to drive in like you would drive into any other place in Port Harcourt. It is still happening. And I recall speaking to Senator Abaribe. I asked him a question. I said, has the Senate ever tried to find out how many illegal and legal detention centers exist in Nigeria? And his answer was on the contrary. So we don't even know all the secret detention centers that are operating. So we don't even know. All we know is that 109 of them is still in Bida. So we might not even be able to find out all the other ones if they are killed or used for organ donations, which is being a market which is thriving in Nigeria today. Some of our people might be involved in this organ donation. The 3 of them that died, what circumstances, how did they die? Nobody is talking to us, except the witnesses there might be able to tell us if they were poisoned, if they were used for organ donation. We don't know up to today. It hurts me so much when I read everything, and when we get feedbacks and reports from inter-society. Sometimes I find it extremely difficult to understand how we can continue to operate in this sort of country and with this sort of people that treat us with neglect. Again, some blame needs to go back to Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB, because if this NSAS thing, we stayed away from it. I mean, if Radio Biafra had stayed away from it to a very large extent, I don't think this Obibo thing would have escalated to this level it did. But because of that involvement and because of that commentary and all the other statements from Radio Biafra, some of these things became a Biafran issue, or rather an Igbo issue or IPOB issue. If it was just left for the Nigerians to deal with their issue, the NSAS project, we were not aware of it. We did not know when the Western people planned it. We did not know when it was executed. We don't know where the money came from. But from nowhere, we got ourselves involved. And any person who is a student of history will know that anything happening with Nigerians, the moment Igbos get involved, it becomes an Igbo issue. We saw that in 1967. We saw that after in 1979. We saw that when just something happened in Belgium, somebody criticized Mohammed and the Igbos were killed. So we have always bared the brunt of any criminality or any incident that happens in Nigeria. I would have expected any student of history to have stayed away from it. I think my heart is heavy tonight, Chief Ezeoke. I can't speak any further, but I thank you so much for what you're doing. Comrade Emeka, may God continue to guide and protect all of you and keep you alive. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mazi Obiokoli. You have eloquently put it. You know, I could not disagree in nothing that you have said that I can disagree with. I completely agree with you. You know, again, I think we can be wiser. I let Marcel pick up from where you stopped. Marcel, over to you.
Okay. I wanted to make this clear. I do not think anybody should be blamed for the actions of Wike and Nigerian military. Neither Nnamdi Kanu or anybody. Those people should be held strictly accountable for their actions. There are rules of engagement, and if we are in a small global community, people should be held accountable. Abducting hundreds of citizens to a remote location and raping them massively for 4 months, you can't blame anybody out of it. It's an action that was taken by an institution, and that institution will have to be held totally accountable for that action. So let's not mix things up. And then secondly, I needed to quickly confirm from Emeka, the 3 dead people that was confirmed, was their bodies released to their family? That is one question. Their bodies were not released to their family up to now.
No. How can they release their bodies when they excommunicated the living ones from their families, and their families are not aware of their whereabouts up to today?
Okay, my other question is this: I listened to a lady from that zone. I can't remember her name now. She gave an account of what prompted out in Obibo, saying that it was first a disagreement between the Hausa Fulanis and the Igbos during the NSAS case and all that. No, that story went on. Now I want to ask you, looking at the people that has been released so far, what is the ethnic composition? Does it reflect the 2 regions that was fighting each other, or just one?
I don't think. I think just like I said from the one. What happened at Obibo was ethnic execution of an ethnic agenda and ethnic cleansing and ethnic profiling. I don't think it has nothing to do with and those atrocities were perpetrated by state actors. You know, there are state actors and non-state actors, but in this respect, they were all perpetrated by the state actors. So all the names that have been located so far, there are 98% Igbos and 100% Christians. And again, let me quickly make a point here. I don't want to know, just like you said, Kevin, you made a very valid point. We don't run a jungle here. We run a process. We run a society. We run a society governed by law, by a set of laws. And including the conduct of the Nigerian army, conduct of the Nigerian police, so conduct of SSS, they are all governed by rules of engagement, code of conduct, ethical conduct, and the laws. Therefore, if there in your state there was a violent clash between Hausas and the Yorubas, heaven didn't fall. So it's normal. So let nobody try to blame it on. So they said there was a clash misunderstanding between the Hausas and the Igbos. Of course, if there was a clash, the government is there to be able to manage the stop the crash and the quench it as it were. And again, this I also agree with you. I do not think that I was quarreling with a lawyer the other day. If somebody gives you a brief and you are a lawyer and you are going into that brief, there are certain questions you're supposed to ask before going into that. So you don't have to say, because I have been asked to go and do this, you not jump into doing that without observing the ethical rules guiding your profession and what have you. So if Nnamdi Kanu was on Radio Biafra and they lent support to NSAS protest, and we're all Nigerians, we're all political animals, we're all part of this country, and there is no way we can run away. For instance, the number of people, the people that were killed at Lekki, they are composed of 50% Igbos and 50% Yorubas. The same thing applies to the injured one. So we cannot stay by the fence simple because the Nigerian government is persecuting us. We must have to understand the composition of the present government and the motive or intent of the present government of Nigeria. It boils down to the proscription of this thing and use of the word IPOB as a death code against to levy war, unwarranted and unjustified war against Igbo population, which somebody observed here has been happening since 1937 or 1935. So it didn't start today. So I do not think that anybody should blame. Incidentally, it's funny enough, the cost of bringing out these people, from the information I gathered, is the same group we are talking about here. That is why sometimes in most of our publications, we try to single out a paragraph of commendation to the role played by the same Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB, leadership of IPOB in this respect. A lot of things they have done in the area of assistance and what have you. So that is my submission, just to support what we have just said. Thank you.
Okay, finally, this whole issue seems to have been quieting down, as nobody is hearing about. Nobody heard about it in the country. This is my first time of actually hearing the reason. What do you think happened? What is the? Are you not talking to the media, the AIT, the channels, the Punch, all the top, all the? Are you not talking? What's actually happening?
You know, when you want to do struggle in Nigeria, Tochku is aware of what I'm saying. Thank God for him who started this media. When he started it, I thought he was joking. But now I see that he is very, very determined. See, my brother, this is a country that is divided heavily or deeply divided along ethno-religious lines. If you want to do human rights activism in Nigeria and you want to defend your people, you want to identify with your people, you must have to be ready to carry a cross, because there will be backbiting, there will be frustration, there will be isolation, there will be attacks, there will be a lot of gang-ups against you, because you are not sounding the language that you are supposed to sound for you to be able to have, international linkages, contact, connections, and what have you. Same thing applies to somebody going into media practice in Nigeria, or somebody engaging in media advocacy or social advocacy using the Nigerian media. So, I mean, the fact we summarize the whole thing into 3 types of violence being faced by Igbos in Nigeria. The cultural violence, that includes the media blacklisting and what have you, by the mainstream media in Nigeria. then structural violence, that is exclusion and what segregation and what have you, and of course physical violence, the attacks and killing and the property destructions and things like that. These are the three types of violence that have been fundamentally instituted and waged against the Igbo population. So media you are talking about, a lot of water has passed under the bridge in Nigeria within the context of media industries or media practice. I mean, you can't imagine going to AIT. You can't force yourself to AIT except you are invited. You can't force yourself to channels except you are invited, and so on and so on. And a whole lot of interest, vested interest. Even in the print media, a whole lot of interest. The immediate past, the chief of army staff was so heavily influential in the print media that whatever thing you write against Nigerian army and what I mean, you count it dead on arrival. But because of the waves we have made, sometimes we manage to get some of these things published in the Nigerian print media, like Vanguard, like Guardian, like Sun, and also small ones, and of course the online media like this one, Tochku is anchoring, and the others like News Express, Elomba, Voice, and what have you, and things like that. So that has been the situation. But to be frank with you, the Obi thing has been going viral all over the media. But maybe you are looking out to see it broadcast or aired by AIT channels and what have you. What is there's TVC and what have you. First of all, you ask yourself, who is behind TVC, who is behind AIT, who is behind channels TV and what have you, and the money involved and a lot of influence and things like that. So you can't just catapult yourself to AIT and start participating in a program, except where you are invited, or except where you have the capacity to have your way, to be able to do that. So, but then we are using what we have to get what we want, and then it is paying off. So it has been all over the media, even the Vanguard and what have you have been, this day. I mean, they have been following the stories and so on and so forth. And lately, a lot of people, couple of them are still coming to speak or to interview us or ask questions about the development of the incident. That is it.
Thank you very much, my brother. And, I can't thank you enough for agreeing to come and speak to us. As you all know, I am, or on this platform, we are unconventional. Most times we do not speak on those things that the mainstream media do, as we have always had in private conversation. I mean, I no longer want for us to sit back and blame some people saying we are being blacklisted. If someone is blacklisting us, for Christ's sake, we have the tools. We unblacklist ourselves. Yes. Therefore, that's why we are here. We can decide to have this conversation as long as the internet permits. We can decide 3 hours, 4 hours, we pay ourselves. If we go to other platforms, I don't think we can even afford 15 minutes. But here, we can decide as much as we can, and we have to keep pushing out that narrative. I think one of them said here at the beginning, no one can tell our stories better than we do. And in doing that, we tell our story. This is firsthand. On that note, I must, if I take some comments from people watching on the social media handle, especially on YouTube and Facebook, and many of them are asking, how can they help in this legal action? Now, Emeka, I want to push it to you, if that is okay with you, for Inter-Society. If people are saying, how can they help? When it comes to finance, I don't want to get involved because, that's a very an easier platform to blackmail people in our place. But Inter-Society is an organization that runs a legitimate bank account that engages in legitimate engagement in Nigeria. Therefore, I would say, if that sits all right with you as the chair board of director, of Inter-Society. Would you mind availing those that have been asking on how they can support the work you do in terms of getting we have, I think you said we have 23 women left. 30 just got freed about an hour ago. And we still have about 110 men in detention. So if we put all men together, I think we have about 133 people still in detention. Is that correct?
Yeah, something like that. It used to be 211, then remove 30 from it. 211,
Yes.
you remove 30 from it. It gives you 181.
Okay. So, and that's, obviously there are some legal bills to pay. And incidentally, it appears, but I don't want you to go into details, but it appears from the work you and the lawyers are doing, the state is getting jittery. I saw a photo that was sent to the Njenje Media News desk that on the attempted murder of one of the lawyers that got these people out. Do you want to say one or two things about that without letting too much out?
Yeah, sure. The lawyer was escape assassination. The lawyer escaped assassination because he was given information from the desk of Inter-Society. So he now acted on that information, and that led to discovery of 110 or 109 fresh names, including that one citizen, Ngozi Chibo Evis, and the lawyer used his tentacles to locate the particular location of the military, the army base. So he went to the army base to confirm the captivity of the 110 persons. They got there and confirmed it. It was on his way back to Abuja from that particular army base between Suleja and Bida, that not more than 20 minutes drive from the base, from the army commando base. It was double cross, and that was how he narrowly escaped being assassinated. So that one is a fact on the ground. And quickly about the issue of help. Yes, Jochukwu, I agree with you. When it comes to issue of money, we know that it is one of the major challenges, major negative, this thing, I don't know how to put it, with which the Igbo people are knowing today. It is a general belief that Igbo people can't do something for themselves or for the society without asking for cash support or without asking to be paid. And I agree with you in that respect. And the people like us at Inter-Society are very, very mindful of who wants to support or who will go and ask for support. But like this Obibo of a thing, yes, we are. It is also important for us to clarify that we are part of it, but we are not. There is inside it we have subdivision of labor. There is aspect that has to do with lawyers handling the matter, and in times of litigation, in times of legal process. Let me use the word legal processes. So Inter-Society is not deeply involved in times of legal processes. A lawyer and his colleagues are handling that, and they are in touch with some of our brothers, like I mentioned a while ago. But generally speaking, that incident is a project. It's a bigger project. It's a project that involves a lot of things. The documentation, the research, the investigation, the databasing, the sharing of information, and so on and so forth, the archiving, and the transportation cost and what have you, and so on and so forth. So that makes it a project, a general project. And if anybody wishes to support Inter-Society, fine and good. It is a project, like I said, but we are not insisting that we must be paid, or money must be given to us for us to be able to do it. Because we have been doing it since December, since November, December, yes, since December till now. If we calculate the monetary worth of what we have done in a market, in open market, it runs into millions of naira. But we are not spending that, even though we need money to do that. We are getting the result. We are doing it according to our own destiny, while the lawyers and his colleagues are also doing their own part on that aspect. So that is the situation report. So I believe that what I can only say is that Inter-Society is not only working on Obibo abductions. Inter-Society is also working on general report and documentation on Obibo massacre.
May I save you?
So
may I save you from? May I save you from the?
No, this explanation is very important in support of what
I
you
do
said.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do
But
understand that.
But I'm done. Yeah.
If people are requesting for, if they want to support Inter-Society, all that is needed is how to tell them to do that. Obviously not cash. It has to be an account that is linked to Inter-Society. Are you able to avail them the account number, which bank, so they can?
There is no problem, but that is why we are making this clarification. So that if you are supporting Inter-Society, you will now know that you are supporting the work of Inter-Society, which includes what is going on in Obibo and others. Like the other day we spoke, and beyond. And the other day we spoke on Olo. I think we already told you. We spoke on Olo version. And so many other issues like that. So the work of Inter-Society is worth supporting. I don't want us to particularize it to Obibo. It's larger. Our work is larger than that of Obibo. What is going on in Obibo. And above all, we are doing that which we are supposed to do for our people. Pricelessly. That is it.
Okay. So what is going to happen now, in order that we pin it down, can you please then mention your account, the Inter-Society account?
I think what I will do is that I think what the best way to do it is so that we go to another level is that I don't want us to waste much time on this issue. What we need to do is that if there are people who willingly want to support us, you are the anchor person. So if you direct them, so we can give you the account.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I think on that note, we no longer have.
But it's also worthy of mention that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that spoke that we are worthy of mention that the Igbo Board of Deputies UK did tremendously recently for Inter-Society. So we will continue to appreciate them and others like that. So that's the thing. So there is no harm in supporting us. Once it is genuine, no problem. So
why can't you tell us the number we can reach, mobile number or anything? How can we reach Inter-Society?
Oh, no, Tochukwu, the number is there. Do you want to put it down?
No, you can say it. Probably it sounds better in your mouth.
Okay. 081. The phone number be?
Yes, 081.
740.
740.
900.
900.
52.
52. Repeat that again.
081.
Yes.
740.
Yeah.
90052. It is also our WhatsApp number.
Okay, so again, for many of you who want to reach Inter-Society,
they can also visit our website. They can also visit our website for them and see things for themselves. Our website www.intersociety-ng.org. That's our website.
So you've heard that the website is Inter-Society, and the telephone number, both WhatsApp and normal call is 081740900052. On that note, I will say, Emeka, thank you very much for the last an hour, 45 minutes. It has been a pleasure speaking with you to understand what is happening in Obibo. Now, before we go, I would quickly say, what's your view and what do you think happened in Olu?
Well, what happened in Olu was the same have a semblance of the Obibo army attacks, but the quantum or the gravity of that of Olo is not yet cannot be, it's not yet commensurate or comparable with what happened. But then the intent is there to by the army to, if unchecked, to to make it look worse than what happened at Obibo. So the military, the army said that some people attack his personnel and other personnel of Nigerian security forces, and it moved the army moved in, and the problem we have with the security forces of Nigeria is the problem of unprofessionalism and the crude policing and the soldiering. That is the problem we have. If you are aiming at a target, you say some people attack your personnel. Your intelligence, through interagency collaborations, will be able to raise enough intelligence and through effective crime detection, you'll be able to move in and fish out those people who you've said that perpetrated one act or the other. Not to the point of unleashing their venom or this thing on innocent people. So the summary of what happened in Olo is that where we got angered was when we investigated and discovered that the soldiers left who they say they are looking for and started looking for Christian leaders in Olo, special members of the African instituted churches and the other innocent souls. And in the end, they arrested over 20-something, if not 33 Christian leaders, including pastors and clerics, and some mentally challenged persons and other innocent citizens, and got them paraded as, in quote, the IPOB/ESN terrorists or operatives that are involved in murdering of soldiers in Olo. And we investigated and found out that what they said is not correct. And we issued a statement telling the whole world that look at the caliber of people they went and arrested. That's exactly what happened. If you are conducting your operation, do it professionally. Use all the ingredients of securitization, intelligence, criminal detection, and things like that, to be able to apprehend the people you said you are looking for, not to use the opportunity to execute an ethnic agenda. And that is our annoyance. And more quickly, when we also conducted an investigation and found out that, look, the allegation of execution of ethnic agenda is real. The 63 Brigade in Asaba is headed by an Hausa Fulani Muslim. 302 Regiment in Onitsha, Atra Regiment in Onitsha, the same Hausa Fulani Muslim. 34 Brigade at Owerri, the same Hausa Fulani Muslim. 14 Brigade at Ohafia in Abia State, the same Hausa Fulani Muslim. Haba, are we no longer talking of Nigerian army or something else? So that is where the much we can say about Olo, and we are still monitoring the goings on there and what have you. Not only in Olo, I think it involves about 7 local government areas: Njaba, Olo, Olu East, and the whatever local government, and as well as about 5 or 6 Nnewi South and the Ihiala local government part of Anambra State. So that is the situation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a very fine place to leave it. Emeka, once more, thank you for coming on this program this evening. I can't thank you enough. It's been a pleasure speaking with you for the last couple of for over an hour 45 minutes, and you've greatly enriched our knowledge and thrown some insight into what is happening. Because obviously, when these things were happening, many people were confused as to, life lost and people taken. But now, these are no longer mere numbers. These are numbers with names, with faces, and many of them that have been rescued. You've spoken to them, and documentations taken. So these are verifiable individuals. On that note, I will say those watching on all our social media handles, both Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, thank you for joining us this evening. And I will tell us, join us tomorrow, 7 o'clock Nigerian time, 6 o'clock p.m. UK time. We will be having a very fantastic conversation with Mr. Tony Nnadi and Professor Banji Akintoye, who is the leader of the Yoruba World Congress. We will be discussing tomorrow Nigerian Union dispute debates and dialogue series, the impact and the significance of the constitutional force majeure. Now, Tony has been in the forefront of saying that the Nigerian Federation has expired since 2014. He also went further to argue that the component units of the Federation should actually start operating in order to have a total collapse of the system. Now, that is the much I understand about his argument, but join us tomorrow, as it's going to be a very interesting time, to have him discuss with the professor, who incidentally agrees with that thinking, that Nigeria is an expired entity, that there are other means to bury the cat. On that note, I will say thank you once more for being our guest this evening. Tomorrow is another day. Join us same time tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. And I will say thank you once more for being our guest this evening. Tomorrow is another day. Join us same time.
This is our period of time, and we are come to call it our birthright. And now I can't stop us. The Friday promise land. Anywhere we go, that's all the blessings of the Lord they follow us. Anywhere we go, that's all the blessings of the Lord they follow us. Who no, we never hear go here. Say that from come. We are the best. We are the best now. We are the body one. We are come to freedom time. Every day keep on praying to God. It's our freedom time. Now so we keep on moving forward. Happy hope is coming. Happy hope is coming. Different people coming. Different people coming. It's never that make it dance. It's never that make it dance. It's never that make it step on it down. It's a freedom time. When I look up to the sky, I can see the sun is shining. It's shining over Biafra. We are the best. I give thanks to God for the blessings of my soul. Come to our freedom time. This is our freedom time, and we are come to call it our birthright. And now I can't stop us. The Friday promise land. Anywhere we go, that's all the blessings of the Lord they follow us. Anywhere we go, that's all the blessings of the Lord they follow us. Who no, we never hear go here. Say that from come. We are the best. We are the best now. We are the body one. We are come to freedom time. Every day keep on praying to God. It's our Oh na 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 na. Oh yeah. Biafra the promised land. Biafra the promised land. Oh na na. Biafra the promised land. Biafra the promised land. Yeah. When I look up to the sky, I can see the sun is shining. It's shining all over Biafra. We are the best. I give thanks to God for the blessings of my soul. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, nah.